I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic and God, indivisible, free and liberal. Honest down. POW. Thank you, Macy. I'd like to recognize our newest member, Todd. Yeah. Congratulations. Wonderful. And then that will be roll call.
Steve Anderson,
You got something, excuse me.
Brian Bartlett,
Here.
Joe Best. Present. Jim, I'm not sure what your last name is.
Evelyn.
Thank you. Dave. Dave's here.
Yep.
Trish.
Yep.
Nathan Huntington. Here. Tom. Online. Duden. Online.
Here.
Rick. Here. Tom Ryan. Up there online.
Oh, sorry about that.
Cynthia here, right? Talk to you all day. Murray.
Yep.
Jim. Can we talk in
We already did the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Burway signed. Okay. Jacob. Here. Al.
Al's online.
Al's online.
I saw him.
And put Roth on here. Ruth. Todd. Okay, Todd. Todd Roth.
Here.
Ruth. There you go.
Okay, looks like we have a forum. Got Al and Tom online. Let's see. Oh. Okay.
Yep. I mean,
Report. We'll start off with.
but, Al. Oh.
Al got mine.
Yep.
Okay. We'll start out with, Lonnie's report. You haven't done it already, turn your phones off. Lonnie gets $5 for Richard House, your phone just got your phone on.
Yes. Make sure you call everybody. Need the money.
Let's go.
And we can get our report up. Did everybody not get their travel vouchers? Did I miss anything? I think we got it all.
Did I do one thing for Lonnie?
Absolutely.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as printed? Rick made the motion, is a second?
Second.
Second made by, Pat. There we go, Todd. I'll get your name sooner or later.
All good.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
February 5th, 2026. All right, next slide. Next slide, please. As you know, this is our staff. Right now, it's still have all the main characters. Only changes from last quarter is one of our VSOs quit to take another job. The good news is he took a job with us. So Jonathan moved from the VSO position to the loan and grant position. And so now we've advertised, and I believe the advertisement is closed to fill that position. So we had to advertise that outside. We should be setting up interviews soon. No VA work study still have the same intern. She's been doing highway road transportation grant work and working really hard on our heroes page. We do have one intern coming in. He's gonna work on our heroes page, and he's gonna standardize it so it's all the same. He's gonna find a good way to do drop downs on Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, all that stuff, so that they're consistent and more searchable. So when you want to find out something in your community, you can do all the different queries that you want. Next, please. All right, the state service officer reports here. This is the biennium second quarter, so this is just the second quarter. VA claims were averaging 5.5 submitted that we're completing per day. So far in the second quarter, $3.3 million in retroactive payments have come through our office, and $1.3 million in new monthly claim awards. Communications there for you, 435 forms filled out. The main thing on that is the appeal and claims, 128 appeals that we filed and 353 claims during that quarter. Next, please. I don't have a little clicker, so you'll have the next page. So this is the biennium total. Same as the last page, but this is for the first two quarters. So we're at 3.3 in retroactive payments, 3.3 million, 1.3 new monthly claim awards altogether. And, oh, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong page. Yeah, 7.4 million and 1.7 million new monthly claims. And you can see their appeals, 274 and 769 claims altogether. So we just tracked that for all of our veteran service officers. Next, please. Our service officer outreach. We've been trying to do some more outreach, especially when we have a little government shutdown there. We tried to maximize our time because as the VA closed, that means we can't be in there. So we sent some out to the counties. Shelley did some work out in the Barnes County and Richland County. John and Tom went down there, and it's just kind of nice to do some help with them. But they also had a stand down, their first stand down, so we supported that. And I don't have a number on there, but from what I've seen on the reports, it worked pretty well. They had quite a few people come in, so we're very happy we can participate in that. Next, VSO training. Quarter one, we had 3 new county service officers. Quarter two, just 1 that was trained. So total 4 for this biennium at this point, or in 2023-25, we had 14. And biennium before 22. So that's a pretty big chunk of the 70 some in the state. Right now, there are 2 in our office right now with Brian training. Their initial training in Wells County, and I can't remember the other county. So we are hopefully going to maintain or retain quite a few of our CVSO. Next, our VSO training. So we provide the annual or twice training where all the CVSO come in for training. Upkeep on the fall conference was at Holiday Inn in Bismarck. Was October 2023, as you know, 53 and attended. We now have the spring conference we're planning for April 13th through 16th, and that will be in Fargo at the Clubhouse Suites. Still getting good participation in those. Next, please. On our burial memorial, our funeral honor coins sold this year, 3 already in January. 2005, you can see 368 sold in that calendar year compared to 400 and some the year before. So it's going down a little bit, but we do have quite a bit of funds in there, so we're still on track to keep that program liquid. We ordered another lot of 5,000 coins in September, and the price actually went down from the time before that, so $226 each. So we're still sitting pretty good. The funeral honor detail stipends, we have 16 teams registered. I know there's got to be more funeral honor teams out there that aren't registered with us. But in January, we paid, or up through January, this Brian is only $6,350. So we're well funded on that. And I told you I'm not taking it off till I get a photo of Neil McIntyre in Williston, World War II veteran buried over in Mark Broughton Cemetery. So
Do we even have anything from like high school? We could do age
we
progression.
had everybody looking, even Senator Kramer and Holden's office that reached out to everybody. We'll find somewhere, somebody's gonna have some photo. Hopefully we'll get it someday. What's that?
Check the police station.
We haven't checked the police station. We signed up.
Criminal records.
Next page. Fargo National Cemetery Building, we're waiting notice on the NCA. Not sure if I reported that, but we did have the groundbreaking already. which surprised me. But, things are moving forward, so I did fill out the application for this $3 million loan I'm supposed to take out that I've never done before. So I contacted everybody you could think of, so I don't mess it up. But basically, we'll take out a $3 million loan and a low interest rate loan and the next session of legislation, they're just gonna pay off the balance. That's the plan. But I get to sign for it. So as far as I know, it's all ready to go on our part. So once the VA and, I'm working with Senator Holman's office on this and they say, yes, here's the building, here's where it's going. We can now start, we need the money. At that point, I'll do the loan. So we're ready on our part. Different rumors on that, whether or not they'll start this year or the year after. So, you know, working with, federal government, everything else, so a lot of surveys, a lot of permits and, I guess bidding and stuff that takes quite a while. Bridges for the Fallen, I've been sitting on a committee, and they're working on the bridge naming process. I believe the legislative group, your committee will see that. I got a copy in there of what they're looking at, so you'll get to look at that and think, do we need to add something or change something? Right now, we have a National Guard member, Representative Porter, myself, and Jim Nelson, sitting on that committee, just trying to come up with the idea of how we want that to work. And they're kind of holding that to 6 bridges per year, so, and hopefully just one bill. Next, National Guard and Reserve Burial Medallion, that's on the ACOVA Legislative Committee agenda. So we could design our own and then we could sell it, right? Or we can use an individual emblems, which would mean that we need to be approved to sell and or give away if we're producing it. So if we use the Army's emblem that says US Army or whatever on it, we have to have the rights to that. So if we can go to the next page, kind of show you a little bit. So that's it. So the National Guard Reserve Medal, going again, if we use a vendor, we found this Hall of Fame Plaques and Signs Company. It's the only one we could find that does this. They were referred by our Air Force licensing office as we were calling around saying, what's it take to get a license to do this? Sorry, Todd, we've been charged with, getting a burial medallion for those who are not qualified for the federal medallion to go on a headstone. So if the family wanted to show that they served in the Army National Guard or Army Reserve and, not full-time, they can have this put on the headstone. And so we're looking at that and we contact somebody at the Air Force licensing office and they suggested we contact this other group who has these medallions that they make, for the regular military, for the active component. We'd have to work with the funeral homes and monument company. That's who this vendor already works with to create those. It's not state specific, which, as we discussed, if we have someone buried in North Dakota and it says North Dakota National Guard, but they served in Minnesota, you know, that doesn't quite work. Use individual branch emblems, so we wouldn't have to have our own. They would put the Army and whatnot on there. They're bronze and oxide coating, or they can do color fades. Their center mounting stud right in the middle of it gets mounted right to, the headstones screw. And, there's the sizes, I underline the sizes that coincide with the federal, medallions. And right now the cost for a 3x3 is only $75, which, is less than the actual, ones that the Army the VA gets. Design team available if we do want to do a custom design. So next page, this is what, they made for us. They looked at it and there is the Army National Guard and all these have their emblems. And this company didn't have these available for sale, but they have the rights. So they created these for us because the rest of them would say Army or, Navy, Marines, whatnot. So they made up the reserve components for us, which are just their emblems. So if a family, this should fit anybody who doesn't qualify otherwise. And they'll put this on their website and it can be purchased. The issues that we do have right now is with the licensing, yada, yada, yada. In the law, legislation committee, you get to look at that real close, and I've been trying to get an interpretation. The Attorney General's office is kind of stumped on the word provide. Because the law says that North Dakota Veterans Affairs must provide this, right? Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're supposed to give it away or just provide, hey, here's one that's gonna cost you $22? So that one is on the fence. It's up for interpretation. Since we have no money for this, we're probably just gonna have to be a little liberal with the word and say, at this point, we can't pay for it. Okay? But with that, if we ever did want to do this, and we got funding, we could just buy these and provide them to the funeral director, just a form to say, here's somebody who's not qualified, family wants this, and we can mail it out. So it should be easy enough. Otherwise, we'll just put a link there and provide it with the funeral directors that here's a link where they can purchase this if they want to have it. So that was a ball dropped during the last session. We didn't catch that. The fiscal note was there, but the appropriations didn't get put in the bill. So that's something for the legislative committee to look at. Feel free to ask me any questions. This doesn't show it, but it says that there's a place in the middle to put the screw, which I'm not sure how that works with these things. I was thinking it'd be on the side. So we'll follow up a little bit more on that. All right, next slide, please. Our SAA. I know this is exciting. So for Todd, the SAA is the GI Bill. This is the state approving agency. They're federally funded. They work for us. And they verify and approve all the college programs on the job training apprenticeships in the state of North Dakota so that their veterans or military members can receive the GI Bill. So they get their rates and they get their GI Bill stipend. And so that's what he does, what he's done in the last quarter, the NASAA, which is the National Association of State Approving Agencies. He's on the executive committee board now, so he attends their meetings. He attended their central region meeting, attended VA office hours, and conducted NASA MTAC meeting, military training. And then conducted the Military Academic Affairs Council meeting, and that's a council that I'd set up to make sure that all of our schools and those providing GI Bill are also providing their veterans with services and connections to other things like healthcare and CVSOs. Veterans class discussion with NDSU and UND. We're still working that out. We're now thinking maybe an online class you can just click on, like on YouTube. The idea there is we want to do a 1 to 3 credit class for freshmen who are military or in other ways recipient of GI Bill funds. And then they come in and learn about how they can apply all their different education benefits to get what they want. So it would be kind of, okay, did you know you can file with your CVSO for this, healthcare, and you want a master's degree, you can use your state waiver and or then GI Bill after that, so they can work on a plan, because a lot of students don't realize what they could or can do until they graduate. And just like, well, I would have done that differently, or I didn't take out that student loan that was 100% paid back. All these little options, so we're still working on that. The schools, there's a lot of issues with it. Do they pay for it? Is it free? And who's going to run it? There's got to be a doctor, doctorate or somebody or a dean that wants to put it under his wing. So we're still working on that. It's not a dead issue in my mind. Next, some major approval actions. Continuing to perform school reapprovals, and we do 100%. We make sure all programs are good. And just a lot more notices here, but when they do approvals and evaluations, it's like an audit of the school. And 4 new facilities that were notable to mention there: Williston High School, New Rockford High School, school district. So he's really hit the schools, which is really nice, because then they take their courses and use some of their GI Bill for courses prior, while they're in high school, prior to going to college. And there's some of the school visits. And he puts these down here so that I have a reference to go back when I have to look these up. So if there's any questions on these, we got 5 more visits scheduled. And the federal VA comes out with his the schedule for the next year. You gotta do this many approvals, this many school visits, and they kind of say NDS use level, and then how many are just certificate level. And unfortunately, UND and NDSU are the only big ones that they get hit every year, so. And, veterans preference, we've had 6 appeals already this biennium, which is kind of up. 5 of them were awarded properly, so I didn't justify having a hearing. And 1 canceled by the applicant, said, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm not gonna appeal this. They were right. Let's get into the financial world. North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs loan program. So we do have a loan program. As you guys remember, we changed it from $5,000 to $8,000 that you can borrow. We've had a few more applications since then. It's a little bit more, user. They can, it's a little more appealing than 8,000 and 5,000. 20 application process, we approved 15, 5 were disapproved, and those are the reasons: credit, income, and 3 were just withdrawn for whatever reason. I think last quarter we had around 100 and some thousand in loan balance. Now we're up to 202. Still got about 389,000 to borrow out. Give us a call. You know somebody needs to borrow some money. And, oh, go back to the other one. And as you know, we're tracking this, so our loan program is in the positive by 10,000. So when we have to write off a loan, then that goes down. So our plan is just to stay on the positive side. When they pay off their loan, we give them half their interest back. So that goes up and down. And so far, we're on track to have a good biennium. How you about that?
Well, where's the loan binder at?
What's that?
Where's the loan binder at?
Should be back here. Did
So
you not
both
do
were
it?
trust fund? I have.
For their meeting coming up, they have to go look at that loan binder, you know.
Yeah. Did you not see it back here?
I did not look for it, I just.
Okay, it should be back here. We're meeting with that, North Dakota Veterans Affairs Committee. Okay, yeah. All right. And Fund 410. So Fund 410 is the fund that we put all of our dollars in that aren't general funds. So post-war trust fund interest earnings and a whole bunch of other programs. We have $1,189,000 in there. Never been close to that. So we have a crazy amount of money, but we've invested $1 million in CDs and $559,000 in Fisher House. And you guys gave us the right to invest the interest earnings. So that's where the 59,000 came. So we took that, put it in the CDs, so we make more interest. Of that, we have $166,000 in cash ready, and these are all the programs that money's for. Historically, it was just the post-war trust fund, but as we've added other programs over the last decade or so, we have to track where those funds are to be assigned. And Fisher House, on the bottom there, 559, we already have 4,600 in cash still. That at some point we'll probably throw that on the next time that CD comes in. And we have about 4,000 in bridge donations. So when there's veteran bridges come around, we're ready to put them up. They cost you anywhere from $200 to $800 to do a bridge. Not bad. But just so you know, if you have questions, pop your hand up there. Post-war trust fund. As we said, we get the interest earnings earned the last biennium to use in this biennium. Last biennium, we made $377,000 in expendable income. We've got that in our fund. Right now, the principal of the post-war trust fund is 9.9. We're so close to hitting the $10 million mark, which is great. And some more income that we've had. This biennium is 11,000 from the license plates and 3,500 from income tax. And income tax season isn't even started really yet. So we're sitting pretty good on that. And the House Bill 1054, you guys did tell me I need to send a letter to all the veteran organizations, say they can add to the principal. I haven't done that. The reason I'm not doing that yet is I heard that the treasurer's office and some legislators are working on the North Dakota Administrative Code on how that will work. Because they've never done it before. I asked the treasurer and he's like, yeah, because the way it's worded, it kind of has to go in there for service to a homeless veteran. I guess prevention of homelessness. So they're working on the administrative code, which is century code sets the law, administrative code kind of codifies some of the rules and regulations, how it happens. So it'll probably say treasurer can accept these and they go in a different little sub fund or something. So that's why I haven't sent it out yet, because I want to make sure they know exactly where they can send it and how it has to be addressed.
Tell those administrative people to get off their duff. I mean, we want to, yeah, at least me as a committee, we want to, right, time passes us by. We're a year after the last legislation session is over, when they just said that we could do this. We want to, each of us needs to tell our organizations, hey, this is serious, we really meant it. And, so there are some of our organizations that have some gaming funds. I mean, we should be able to make sure that we're telling our groups that we're representing that we can actually contribute to this, and the state allows it. There's a way, we've got a bank, I mean, we got all that. So tell those people, since you haven't sent a letter yet, because of the reason you gave us, get off their duff so that we can communicate with veterans organizations to help support veterans on behalf of the state.
I'll do that, but I'll do it very delicately.
I know you will.
Most people are the legislators. So evidently they meet in the interim and they have to approve those, but I haven't asked, I was just told that it's happening.
Yeah.
I talked to the treasurer, so I would like to have a little bit of input on it, so I'm gonna contact Treasurer Field.
Copy.
I'm following and I support that same thing. Healthcare, yeah, our grants. So North Dakota Department of Veterans Affairs can give grants, some from Post-War Trust Fund. We also have grants from the Impact Grant, which is donated funds, and that's our activity so far this biennium. When grants approved, we paid out 12,000. Doesn't mean that there isn't more approved there. And the Impact we've approved for, paid 6,100 out already. Great. Next, healthcare, there's more behavioral health. ND Cares and Governor's Challenge still going strong. Moving forward, a lot of good programs. The 98 logos. For you guys, I'm going to keep this up here. Please try to put that out. I've talked to several veterans, even just recently, and there's not a lot of trust with 988 yet. They're like, well, I called, they're going to send the cops over. You know, so, if you call and say, I've got a gun, I'm going to shoot my whole family and myself, yeah. But they don't want to send the police over. Police don't want them to go everywhere that there's somebody having a crisis. We can get somebody to them in 45 minutes with the mobile unit. Or we can have them online with the mental health care provider right now and set them up with everybody right there. So that one kind of threw me for a loop when I found that those are some discussion amongst veterans at veteran organizations. And be careful, you lose your firearm, you know, get the cops pounding on your door. It's not the way it is, yes, sir.
Are you also connecting them with the volunteer PTSD mentors out of the VA clinic in Fargo?
Yes, if you call 988, it goes to First Link in Fargo, which is close to us. And Jennifer Illick runs that. They also answer 211. So if you call 988 and you're having housing issues, which is number one reason for suicide ideation, they can help with anything. Legal, food, housing, all that. And if you identify as a veteran, we're working with them even closer now. We have a couple of our staff members, including Jonathan, that are working with their database to make sure it's up to date, and they do that warm handoff. And then, which I really love, it's not like, well, you can call the VA, here's the number, click. They're like, hey, I can call the VA and we'll do a teleconference with them, and then it kind of turns over to them and say, hey, can we call you back? First Link will call them back the next day, next week, month later, they'll follow up. So I just love 988, and when I heard that, some people were like, I don't really trust that. If you're in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota, and you got a phone, we can have mental health right now. Plus, if we need to, we'll send a dispatch within 45 minutes is the longest it'll take to have a mobile unit right there. So, I mean, it's a good thing. We're doing a lot to keep building them up, their resources, but then, we need to advertise and let people know this is the best bet. And a lot of it is our nurses, our providers, they need to know they can call here. And there's somebody there that has all the resources that are verified in, hey, right around the block from you, or in Arizona over the phone, whatever works for you, so. It's my one-stop shop that I've wanted for a long time. I didn't create it, but it's awesome. Yeah, so, right there, the third bullet, we visited and updating the vet programs, and, if we get our our Fox grant, we're gonna put some VSO type people in there, do case management with them. So that'll be great. Senator Kramer's bill still going, Fox connected. Basically that bill would say if the state hasn't received it, they get priority. This last time of the 300 and some applications, I think there were 16 new. The rest were repeats. One went into Minnesota. So we, thanks to Kramer's office, Representative Ryan of DC, he set up a meeting with me, ND Cares, and the people who grade these grant applications. And we're gonna go through our application. They're gonna go step by step. It's a long application on what they need to see. Because ours is a good application. They said we like what there's there, but there's some things they can't. So I feel a little better that the 5th time's a charm and get that grant. Next, and the Fox grant is money that comes in the state where we can do our programs on steroids instead of waiting, and we're all, we all have limited time. We can hire people to get the job done. All right, Fisher House project. And I'm hoping that our director's got good news for us. We're still waiting for the land, so Fisher House, I talk to you about what that is. We are doing a fundraiser now. As it says here, if you notice, $1 million. Oh, I'm sorry. This used to be a $6 to $8 million estimated project. And now that we're really close to the land, I visited with the Fisher House people, are like, yeah, about that. We're looking at their average cost of 11 to 13 to build these, because they built, I think, 20 since we started ours. So we're up in a little bit, but we've got close to $8 million already. So soon as the land is good to go, they're gonna start construction. That's not a problem, but now we just upped our goal. We want to get another one or a little bit more than $1 million. And all of our money has come from Fargo. So now we're gonna probably go out to those other communities and say, hey, help out a little bit, because they're the ones that are gonna use it. So it's a good project, a lot of work, and it's gonna be a good thing for North Dakota. So the core vent chute, we had a clay chute, made $33,000. We had a goal of 20. And the freeze out, the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association approached us, and this weekend they're doing a freeze out. It's at your cables. Basically, they're gonna spend 48 hours outside sleeping and everything, not in a tent, just outside. Supposed to be the coldest weekend of the year normally. They missed it by about 2 weeks, I think, so good for them. But we have a lot of sponsors, and our goal is 50,000, and we're about 43,000. So we're pretty sure we'll get to that, and all that money goes to the construction. None of the money goes to anything else. It doesn't go to the foundation. It goes to construction of a powerhouse. So if you guys want to check it out, if you're in Fargo, drive by, get some coffee, throw a nickel in there, or, nickel means $5,000. But it should be interesting for our first year. We're hoping we'll have more events next time. I'm hoping that they actually do something like the flag retirement ceremonies and different things. So what else we got on housing? Oh, our prevention of housing. We got this surprise $500,000 for veteran housing. You guys approved all the policies in November. Programs got to a soft start in December. We're still getting the word out, even though we sent the word out. Not everybody follows up on everything because it's email. And we're starting to get a lot of calls and questions, but so far, HAP, that's us, our housing assistance program. 5 grants approved. We paid out 24,000. Got some good stories that go with it. One that's heartbreaking and it'll make you all cry. And that was a veteran who died. She left, had postpartum, baby, and her died in Texas. And here the husband's up here, can't find my wife. I don't know what happens, and he was, of course, not doing well. And they're got way behind on bills. They still have another child. And, it was very heartbreaking, but, wasn't asking for help until it was almost too late. Between all of us, I think we've got him back on track and, he's gonna have a lot of grief to deal with. But he's housed and his child was housed, but yeah, he was very close to losing everything there. So very thankful that that grant came to us in time because it would have been tough with our other programs to justify it. CapND's been kind of busy. They've had 8 grants, and paid only $8,900 out. And we work well with them to make sure we got to learn a lot, more legal problems that we have with paperwork, and working together. So we have the attorneys help us write our new, application forms so that it says we can contact anybody we want to do a joint effort. So now we can call CapND and say, hey, you have GI Joe application? Yes, we do. And since they signed ours, and if they sign theirs either way, we can talk and say, well, we've got this much covered, and then we can cover the rest. Like I said, we're not a Band-Aid. I don't want to see a Band-Aid. I want to see a fix. So why is this person in this problem, and how do we fix it using all the resources so they don't come back? And they can be permanently housed, and we can move on. So like I said, that's pretty good. Started in December with shape, Christmas and everything else. It was a tough time to get the word out, but there we go. Highly Rural Transportation Grant is HRTG. Our grant was approved for $665,000, 2 replacement vehicles coming. We're trying to figure out if we can replace them or not because the new law came out and says they have to be ADA compliant. We're trying to figure that out because on the reservation and way up north in the hills, you need a 4-wheel drive to get to a lot of homes. And so we're trying to justify replacing those 4-wheel drives. And last, biennium, we closed out, we're within $50,000 of the over $500,000. So, that's good for us. We made it. Post-War Trust Fund grant, transportation grant you guys approved last time was started in December. We'll have some numbers for you. The DAV last Post-War Trust Fund van is ready to sell. Is going to take a picture and put it up here. It's worth a couple $1,000s. It runs great. But, it's the last one that we pay for at the Post-War Trust Fund. So whatever we get goes back in the Post-War Trust Fund for you guys to, give us authority to use. And the VA still has 3 vans that they're doing for the VTS, which is a paid driver that can run people around Fargo area. So we got a lot of good transportation programs. Let's see what they're all about. Here we go. So ARPA ended, as you know, that was that temporary one. So there was very little miles on there, for that quarter. It was only 1 month. Post-War Trust Fund, it started in late December, so the number is a little bit lower there. And then the DAV, that's those vans that sit around the state and, waiting for Cindy to drive the veteran from Bismarck to Fargo. The Highly Rural Transportation Grant are the 36 highly rural counties in North Dakota. And then if you're at the VA for same-day surgery and they say, no, you have to have somebody here to bring you back to your hotel room, or you can't have this colonoscopy because we're giving you a sedative, we'll give them a ride. We've hired people that will bring them into the hotel room and stuff. So that's paid for with our impact grant money that we raised. And if you get dropped off the ER or whatever, and you don't have a ride home and not travel eligible, we'll pay for it for a test. So those are the programs that's, kind of comes from our Dakota Veterans Affairs. And so far this biennium, we've done 168,000 miles. Not bad. Ask a lot of questions about those later if you haven't. Believe it or not, we're everywhere, but we don't have all the services that are needed to serve all of our veterans. Still, people have a lot of problems getting from Dickinson to Bismarck and things like that. So we're still addressing those. On our website, 4,000 heroes on the page. We've got all kinds of other things. And now all of a sudden they said, wait a minute, you have to be ADA compliant. So the picture of me has to have a description. All right. And it's not just a picture of Lonnie wearing a suit. It's got to be detailed, I guess. Dan and I have been discussing this a lot. And why can't we have a program, AI can look at a picture and give me a description? But they're saying by April, if we don't have an update, we might take down all those pictures. Yes, sir.
It's because the large language model doesn't have a description of you already, so it needs the input. It'll have it once it's typed into, then the large language model, AI, will have a description.
Yeah.
That's the way those companies work.
Yep. And which is unfortunate because we've got thousands of photos and according to IT, when they talk to Dan, we're the biggest problem. Because we have so many things like that with pictures and need descriptions. So it's gonna be fun and we've got a NDSU capstone student coming in to work on our state heroes format. He's gonna help it. We got somebody who's been volunteering, updating stuff, but he's gonna look at how to make a form, so they're all the same, and just drop down, just click on whatever. And he's also gonna try to help us solve the photo thing. Because otherwise, we're gonna have to take all the photos down and then type a description, put it back up. One at a time. And this is all done by volunteers. So we have to go back to volunteers. It's taken what, 12 years before we're at. So it's a big setback for us and it's not a need to. There's no law that says I have to have a heroes page. It's something I want. I think they deserve it. They died. Who knows that? It should be remembered. Some of them have just no picture and a name, just a name and it says died in World War II. So, well, they deserve better than that, but a big step back for us, but Dan, all over it. I know Al Darman might talk about it a little bit when he shows up here today, because we are the number one problem right now. They just don't want to have a lot of, I guess there's some people that are, an organization saying, you have to have this. And we want to do the right thing too, but it would be nice if we can get a quick fix just to work towards it, so. With that, I'm open to listening to any questions and avoiding anything. Yes, Mr. Huntington.
Sorry, I've already spoken twice.
No,
On the burial and memorial medallions. Appreciate what you've done so far. Just quick comment. Obviously I'd like you to continue to pursue it, figure out what that word means, the provide. I am wondering if in the discretionary budget that you've got, when you get to the point that you have those seven medallions, can you at least purchase one set, like one of each, so you have in your office so that then people who come in can, see what they are for real once you get to them?
there's a possibility we could do that. That shouldn't be a problem. Or the best world would be, we have a stack of them and people would order from them, we mail them. We could find funding on our own. But if we do that, we need to expect that would be the only way we fund it going forward, because if we go to session and say, getting money, they throw in some money, then that's funded. If we raise the money through request, which we can do, it's gonna be expected, well, they figured it out, let it keep doing that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. If we get a donation, I can cover it. I have no idea what it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
It might not be that much, so I'm really open to your guys' opinions and suggestions on that. Because it is kind of a niche that should be filled properly. So I appreciate that, yeah, we're gonna look at that, and I like the idea of just at least getting some copies. And I don't know if we can just give it to the vet, funeral homes and say, here's the link. Because the word provide. Provide themselves. Sir,
I was thinking, I'll go down here as you talk on that too, if we have the funeral homes basically handle it, if you're, they meet with families, say, yeah, you're eligible for one of these coins, we can order it, funeral, that way you don't have to have it in your office on hand to mail out. They order it, and then they fill out a form to be reimbursed by Department of Veterans Affairs, rather than us having coins on hand. Would that be a possibility, way to run the program?
it's possible, if, when we find out how we can run it ourselves, if it's gonna be paid for, they gotta pay for it. They go through their checklist and they look at headstones, do you want a headstone, yeah, blah, 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 well, they're not qualified, oh. Flip it over to this page and say, garden reserve, we can get you this. I think we'll work with the funeral directors and say, what's easiest for you?
Yeah.
Because like with the flags and the reimbursement, when they do their flag request, right, because they have flags, and then when they get one out, they just fax one in and they get a mailed one. All they can do with that is hit also North Dakota facts. So we get a fax that they just buried somebody, give them a flag, no matter on that point. Same thing here. So I'm gonna rely a lot on the funeral director.
Yeah.
Easiest way for us is this because they got a lot of things going on. They're pretty good now.
Oppose this. I mean, what, are we looking back on the legislative intent?
Legion guy, Marine, Leon Hiltner.
Oh, Leon did.
Yes, he was out in the cemetery and he's marking us for flag Memorial Day, Veterans Day. He said, this guy served, I know he did, but he was scarred, doesn't qualify another medallion. Why can't we get these scarred and served?
So I would say that he was intending to provide.
Yes, he did. I thought the money was in there. I really did, but I got busy with some other fun things during session.
It wasn't.
And I submitted the fiscal note. Submitted the fiscal note, 45,000, and that's development and getting us enough to cover the next couple of years. And didn't notice that it wasn't in an appropriation line. So.
I think
not just bad on
that's
me,
the goal. We want to work towards being able
Yeah,
to provide.
And honestly, Al Dorman will be here today. He said that last time he was here, all these little nickel and dime things that we do, we fundraising, this, blah, blah, blah. He says, you just need a budget to take care of that stuff. And so if he supports that, then maybe this next session would happen. I dropped the ball because the last two special sessions we had, they said, nope, this is all we're doing. Check it in, we're doing this, ARPA fund, you don't be bringing other bills. This last time, there's a bunch of little upkeep bills. So I could have asked just to throw it in. And it might have been funded, but I didn't think they'd allow it. That happened so fast, over, but they have a bunch of other bills. Live and learn, and I can't go to the emergency commission with something like this, no one can tell me that. It's gotta be emergency, yes, sir.
Well, so to keep going on what Trish just said, I agree that the idea is that it's gonna be provided, meaning that somebody doesn't have to pay for it. I understand the pitfall that you're facing, so we, the committee, just don't wanna play the game over the next, whatever the number of years, 5, 8 years, and we still haven't got here because we're waiting. So, you know, if with this, since the session is coming up, whatever it is, we're 8 months away, 10 months away from the next session, right? But we also need to be sure that we're doing right by our veterans who are in this small category. And if literally nobody's gonna come up with a provide, then we should.
And I did ask Mr. Dorman to give us his interpretation of provide, and maybe he's got an idea how we can provide that too. I know the state cemetery has a fund. You know, and we probably realize it's still, you gotta be careful because then that'll be the permanent thing, but maybe you can afford it. There might be some things in our budget that we can ask to get changed, so, you know, I'd like to get it figured
At
out.
least get the development fund now and get the,
I don't think it would be all that much. Does somebody else have a hand? Yeah.
We say 3 by 3, that means 3 inch by 3 inch.
Yes, the sizes that were on there, there's 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 6 by 6, so, the ones they have for the military ones, where if you have a headstone, you just want the medallion by the VA. There's a 2 by 2, and this guy won't do a 2 by 2. You won't post it, but you can special order. It's gonna cost more. It's tougher. But he has, it's 3 by 3 and 4 by 6 is what the VA provides. So this falls in line with the same sizes, so plus the different, you can go bigger, which is kind of nice. So I'm glad there's somebody out there. Everybody else I called, they're like, no way. That's too much work, and this guy's already doing it, so he just created a few new ones. So. Good thing, plus then we run into, okay, do we have to bid it? That shouldn't be a problem. Send out the bids, and I'm sure he's gonna come in. I probably the only bid if nobody else wants to do it, so. All right, any other? Thank you very much for your time. Wait for the-
If you're watching to sit down, good job on getting housing assistance building also.
Thanks. That's a lot of work right here for these guys too. I think you gotta be impressed with all the policies you guys got in that 2 meetings done. That was.
No, Trish, we almost didn't get it done in those meetings because of you. But we
okay,
get,
great.
But we appreciate Trish making sure we got the wording right too. So
All right, we got the, VA hospital, Bartle, Brett, Ferris is on the line with us. I see, Brett, are you up?
Yeah, I'm online. Just to let you know, I only had this on my calendar for an hour, so
Oh, Mike,
I got 9 minutes. So I'll take questions through email and
Dan,
everything.
Hey,
tell microphone.
hey Brent, your mic's not on.
I don't know what to say. On my end, my mic
I
is
hear you.
working.
What's the mute up on the top left there? Is that us or him?
No. No, might be us. I hear you.
Are our speakers on?
I think
That's what happened last time.
you're getting feedback on Murray was talking earlier, who you did something to stop us.
Yeah. One second.
They can hear them online, so maybe
Jane
the
can hear 'em.
speakers. Go.
Feedback from Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I'll fix that.
Can you hear us, Paul?
We can hear you.
Can hear you. We're good.
You go ahead, Brent.
All right. Sorry about this. It was only put on my calendar for an hour, so I got 8 minutes. I got an entire group at 2:30. I'm gonna have to jump. With that being said, I can provide any updates for follow-up if somebody wants it through email or a different session. Or if this session's supposed to be longer, I can make sure that it gets on my calendar for longer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step through some of the major portions and I'll share my screen. As everybody knows, they're probably hearing through the secretary's office, we will be going over the next 18 months through a VHA restructure implementation plan. Basically what that's taking us is that's more of a change in how the VISNs above the healthcare system are structured. It does not really impact the healthcare system for us locally. That is the elements that go above us. And so on the screen, you can see that's what the 5 VISNs from the 18 we currently have. It's what it will look like. We are still in the same segment and catchment area. There's no change for us. The next big thing over the next year we have coming up will be deploying the electronic health record, which is Oracle or Cerner, as a lot of people talk it. Right here is where we're at, and we got a long way to go. Our go live is May of 27. So as we get further along for that, as training, as infrastructure and everything, there might be some impacts there will be impacts to some of the clinics and patient flow, but they will be small, minute, and in short bursts. So the next thing I want to talk about is we are doing a large outreach and enrollment campaign that is starting through the year. I'm finding a great deal of veterans that don't know that they can apply online. They are under the assumption that they've got to drive all the way here to Fargo and everything. You can Google how to enroll in VA care. It will bring you to a website. It walks the veteran through how to do that. The National HEC office does the vetting, then sends it to us. We coordinate with the veteran. So I have found anecdotally some veterans that have not been checking enrollment or applying for healthcare because they're just waiting for the next time they're in Fargo. They didn't know. So you're going to see a large push for us on enrollment in our catchment area. Secondarily, another large focus for us is we don't market ourselves always well throughout the market. Recruitment and retention are always a continual concern, mostly for high rural healthcare systems. This is just an example of some of the things that we've made a difference on, going to a web-based format, signing recruiters that are out there. leveraging our staff to share this information, to work through, and to get out of just a single point of contact and getting to a web-based format where we will be reaching out across the country because it will be on the web. Here's the part you all want to talk about. And sorry, Lonnie, I kept the Fisher House on the next slide. We have opened our new Fergus Falls CBOC, as well as we've opened our new Grand Forks CBOC. That doubled the size of both of them. There will be an expansion in Fergus because when I got here, they had expanded CBOC without X-ray or diagnostic capabilities. We are going through the process to add those. Currently on our campus right now, anybody that's been here, we're building a large outpatient mental health and wellness recovery building, as well as a whole health, primary care, and EMS expansion on the backside of the campus. And we are currently about to start our 4B remodel. That's our inpatient psych unit. Has to be completely remodeled from left to right, top to bottom, to meet regulatory requirements. That will require us to drop from 10 beds to 5. We will do half the ward. We will open that half and then move to the second half. The intent will be to return. We have a 10-bed unit that is there. We are in the drawing and the land selection. The land has been identified. We will move to a new design and build for the Bismarck CBOC, which will triple the size of that CBOC. We will push a great deal of specialty, subspecialty, and support. This will be in an effort to mitigate the long distance between Fargo and the rest of our catchment area. And we have drawings and everything that are already out there. Like I said, the ground's already been purchased. We are already working through the lease and we intend to break ground relatively soon. We plan to have that operational next summer. Obviously, I said our EHRM is going live. We are doing a full award in 2028 to redo our Bemidji CBOC because that one desperately needs more space. We're doing some internal remodels here on the campus. And most importantly, the Fisher House is underway. I have no great feedback or update. We have done our part for allocation of funds and everything for that part. We're just waiting for the Office of Healthcare Engineering and as well as OEAM to notify us when the acquisition is complete. We move on to the next phase.
Thank
And
you.
then lastly, I'll show you a picture. You will see 2829. I finally got 95% drawings. We will be building a parking structure on the main campus here at Fargo. But at that same time, I am building a business case and a solicitation for a Fargo Metro CBOC or clinic. And what that will allow me to do is move outpatient operations off this main campus, push it to a local site, to a clinic that is local, allow us to decompress the hospital, get outpatient off of the inpatient house flow, and possibly allow us to expand our surgery, CLC, long stay inpatient design, and as well we have a great residency program with UND. We've added a Da Vinci robot and we're looking to advance our surgical platform. And then lastly, we are also working on the Minot CBOC for an expansion to there. We're looking at an award 2829 that gets kind of sketchy about how funding will be allocated and everything. So we are looking at enrollment and build out for the future. This is what the parking structure here on the campus will look like. This is the old UND building or part of the hospital, and this is the exit to 19th Avenue. this is where the parking structure will go. And this would be, if you're looking at the UND building, out at the parking structure. My intention is the UND building used to be a part of the university. They have given that back to us. It is a business occupancy building, so I can't use it for clinical services. So I'm restructuring admin to include my own office and my staff to move it into that UND building to allow us to expand clinical operations in the main hospital. And then lastly, I will just say, we are doing a multi-pronged approach to our business case across the healthcare system. The idea is the reason we are expanding the CBOX, that is with the intention to push more specialty and subspecialty care. That's not necessarily to grow PAC teams and everything. We believe we're about right there, but we've got to get into a new model where we're pushing care out rather than requiring everybody to travel in. So I'll stop there and just see if there are any questions.
I'm not hearing any questions over here.
All right.
Thank you very much.
I apologize. I got to drop off. I'll make sure to adjust. This got put on for an hour, and I've got a veteran group right behind me right now. So I'll make sure I got a buffer of about 30 minutes next time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
We'll move on to Lieutenant Colonel Alan Rourke with the National Guard update. Alan, you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I'm going to take over and share my screen here. Just let me know when you see the screen, please.
You see it now.
Perfect. Hold on. All right. Well, hey, good. I just want to say good afternoon to the ACOVA board. So I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan Rourke. I'm the Deputy Director for our J5 Strategic Plans and Policy Group. Briefing on behalf of Brigadier General Mitch Johnson today, as Colonel Sheldon is down in Fort Leonard Wood picking up his son from Advanced Individual Training. So without further ado, we can go to the next slide. So the North Dakota National Guard, and if you've seen this before, if not, so our adjutant general is what we in the National Guard call a super tag, in that he has 3 distinct agencies underneath him, with the Army Command, the Air Component Command Wing, as well as Department of Emergency Services, to include Homeland Security, Civil Air Patrol, and the Emergency Comm Center, as well as State Administrative Veteran Cemetery. So that, in essence, is how the breakdown. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting some feedback. Are you getting feedback, like double feedback on your end from me? Over.
We're a little bit, but not more.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so outside of the task organization, the North Dakota National Guard, from a federal perspective, we've been busy as always, but just for current mobilizations, we have our current or deployed at home station on Title 10 ops. So within the Air National Guard wing, they have a Title 10 day in and day out mission in Fargo that they're doing with 73 airmen, and then as well as they have 2 bilateral affairs officers that are stationed in Togo and Benin. And then on the Army side, this honestly is probably the least we've seen currently mobilized from North Dakota's perspective. Well, in quite some time. I would argue, and probably since the early 2020 or 2000s. So we have 5 soldiers that are currently out the door. One as our bilateral affairs officer to Ghana, and then we have one in a SEDAP or a security mission in Africa. Kosovo, South Korea, and then Kuwait for Operation Spartan Shield. We do have 3 pending unit mobilizations on the horizon with our medical Delta company for the 112th Aviation Battalion down to Fort Bragg, and then our 816th MP company in support of Operation Inherent Resolve, and our ADA Battalion to the National Capital Region with projected dates. So just from a state response perspective, so we've, again, on the state side, not federal, we've also been pretty busy for the last 5 to 6 years. And you know, the photos that you see up there are tied to the bubbles that you see and the highlighted ones in black. So the 2020, we had a civil disturbance supporting local law enforcement in Fargo, North Dakota. Picture number 2 was in 2024, there was a Missouri River ice jam where our Black Hawk helicopters worked with Bambi buckets dropping water to break that ice jam up. And then the 2024 wildland fire response in western North Dakota, really out in the Badlands area as well. We've done state support in state, but we've also had our emergency management assistance compact called to where we supported wildland fire in California, southwest border in Texas, as well as the RNC support to Milwaukee being the Republican National Convention in 2024. So staying busy, and that's really in a nutshell what our last short history of state response has looked like in the last 5 years. For the current state of North Dakota National Guard, so we have a current end strength, both Army, Air, roughly sitting at about 4,121 soldiers, with the breakdown Army and Air right below there. You know, within there as well, we do have our active guard and reserve employees for full-time support, as well as our Title 32 dual status technicians. So they wear the uniform as dual status technicians, and also supplement the force. So really, you know, 317, 292, 311, 143 perspective to the Army and the Air side, and then state employees as well. So all of our facilities across the state, and if you look at, you know, the map, so the green is the green's Army, blue is the Air, and then just black is the location. So we're located in all those communities across the state, and then most of our facilities have a state employee, with a bulk of them being up at Camp Grafton Training Center. But just the day-to-day support of facilities management for us, it's just so we can do our federal and state missions is important. And so that's where our state employees come into play. This is really what I would call our heat map for just show you where our North Dakota National Guard personnel home of record is. And so, you know, your dark red circles up there is roughly 66 to 200 people living in the area. It's a little, I wouldn't say off, but, you know, like for the Fargo and the Bismarck communities, for instance, you know, there's multiple zip codes in each one of those communities. So those would be in the dark red area. But the bottom line is, you know, within our footprint, we've got the 4,288 service members living, well, total with 720 living outside of North Dakota, and family members being 1,003. But for the most part, the bulk of our service members are residing in the North Dakota area. And last I recall, they come from 16 different states, but the bulk of our soldiers live here and do serve here. And why that's important when we talk about North Dakota economic impact, just this is the 2025 snapshot. So we had roughly $283 million worth of economic impact to North Dakota in 2025. And so the slide on the, or I guess the chart on the left is your direct impact in state. And they have the communities broke out. And again, your other North Dakota is the smaller communities where we might have one or two soldiers, but this is direct impact to those communities. And so they will, obviously we bring some economic impact there, as well as indirect impact, which is shown with the 65 million to the right. And that's just jobs, wages, goods, and services that are impacted because we're serving or in the communities, just indirect impact, whether it's fuel, things like that we might see. And so all in told, roughly that $283 million economic impact for fiscal year 2025. We also had some infrastructure completed in 2025. So the National Guard Readiness Center was built in Dickinson, North Dakota. It was federally funded at $27.3 million in 18.4 federal and state, with 18.4 coming federal and 8.9 coming from the state. At Camp Grafton Training Center specifically, we had our line of communication bridge. So very important for us. It's a new bridge in the Army engineer world, and we're one of and might be the only one in the Army inventory right now for National Guard that trains on that bridge. So that's up and running. And the picture that you see beside there, that's what we call a Ritchie Slough up at camp. The water's not there yet. It will be as soon as we get it done, but it will be a state of the art bridge park for our engineers, specifically bridgers, and where they can basically install and train on any bridge in the Army inventory for our 12 Charlies. And then we had a fitness facility that was built up at Camp Grafton. It was a big need for us. So I was very appreciative that we finished that we're finishing up that facility. And both the line of communication bridge and the fitness facility will have a ribbon cutting later in the fiscal year because we get a lot of students at the RTI from outside of North Dakota that come to train, units that come to train up there, and just having a dedicated fitness facility with some space is really meeting the military needs. So that was also completed this fiscal year. We also have been really active in innovation and partnerships. Within North Dakota, and especially when we start talking about our UAS or unmanned ecosystem that we have, the North Dakota Army National Guard, Air National Guard, we've been working with our university, North Dakota University systems, our Department of Emergency Services, the air bases, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Civil Air Patrol, you name it. We've been working search and rescue training opportunities with all of the entities involved, as well as our military police and our Air Defense Artillery Battalion utilize some resources and assets to support those state training initiatives, just to allow a whole of government training approach and just to be more prepared to have interoperability if and when the call does come, as we know it does, and where we have to work with state and federal agencies. Just a little further into the innovation and partnership. And talking more so on the UAS, counter UAS front. So Department of Homeland Security has been out to Camp Grafton doing some training events specifically in the UAS, counter UAS front, as well as working with our Federal Aviation Administration contacts and partners, and again, the university systems. And we've had some I guess, higher level interest to utilize Camp Grafton Training Center. So that the technology research experimentation, specifically the T-Rex and the Point Defense Battle Lab, those are Department Undersecretary of War initiatives, and where they're coming out and training or utilizing airspace or whatever that may be to look at industry and bringing individual, whether it be companies or you name it, to test on-range space or test on in airspace and see if they're at a level where, you know, there might be government contracts, et cetera, but to advance our capability in the UAS and counter UAS, because as we see in the current conflicts going on around the world, it's a problem that's not going away. And we're trying to stay ahead of it in North Dakota, and specifically so that our soldiers and airmen aren't being exposed to it the first time that they find themselves in harm's way. So definitely good innovations and partnerships, and it meets our needs and helps spur industry to get after a wicked problem. We have our state partnership program. So we have 3 state partners with the North Dakota National Guard. Ghana was our first partner on the African continent in 2004, followed by Togo and Benin in 2014. They're neighboring countries in Western Africa, and for FY26 approved events with some pending funding, some that have already been completed. We're doing cyber assessments with our Ghanaian counterparts. We do our counter IED knowledge exchanges between our engineers in state, whether it be through our regional training institute or our SAPR units, and work with our Ghanaian, Togolese, and Benawa partners. Chaplain workshops, our chaplains have been to go over there quite often. Counter drug engagement is a new one that we're actually standing up. So that'll be a really good event, because even on the African continent and Western Africa, they have a lot of the same problem sets and issues they're trying to get after, very similar to North Dakota and some continental United States. We have our non-commissioned officers go out and do guest lecture series with NCOs, and then we do exchanges where our we send lectures over and they send folks over to participate in training in North Dakota as well. Our 119th Air Wing did a ISR assessment just recently with the Ghanaian Armed Forces. And then Lignite Coast is a DES exercise. So again, part of the state partnership program is to, bring some of our, state entities over to there and partner those entities with folks in Ghana. And so Lignite Coast is an opportunity for us to work with Togo specifically, and we've done this in the National Disaster Management Office in Ghana as well. So it just another extension of that program. Let's see, we did create recently, we have the state partnership ribbon was created for those folks, because sometimes it's a lot to give up 5 days, 2 weeks, just extra time to go over and partner with our countries. And those that go usually want to go back, but just another incentive for folks to go over and be part of that unique program that we do have. And then I mentioned the bilateral affairs officers, just point a note on that. So they go over on what we call OTOTs, or one-time occasional tours, typically 3 years, but it's between 2 and 3 years. And so our Ghana position just filled this summer. So Captain Johnson just got on ground out there, and he'll be there for the next 3 years. And then our Togo and Benin partners, which the Air National Guard hosts, those will be advertised this summer, and then we'll have some new bilateral affairs officer on the continent. We have in North Dakota, and it's not just North Dakota. So the counter drug program is nationwide. Every state has one, which is federally funded. And we within the program, it supports our law enforcement, three-letter agencies, et cetera. But really for the introduction, disruption, and curtailment of any drug trafficking activities. I put the slide together with our counter drug counter drug team member here in North Dakota, and just to give you an FY25 snapshot of how we supported our North Dakota law enforcement professionals. Last year, they had a 1.5 million budget, 14 personnel were participating and 169.1 flight hours. They fly and utilize our UH-72 or a Lakota helicopter, just because it's a smaller aircraft and it's designed more for like that type of activity. But we had 18 law enforcement agencies that were supported with that program, and then 212 law enforcement agencies trained, and that's pretty common or on par for a fiscal year. So any of the law enforcement officers that are newer to the counter drug program, they'll come out, they'll get training on the Lakota, the military equipment that's on there, and then just how they nest and integrate with that. So when they go out and do these real world missions, but 417 million lethal doses of fentanyl seized last year, 403 pounds of meth seized, 115 illegal firearms seized, and $128 million of illicit currency seized. And it's not us doing it, it's our law enforcement officials, but we are supporting that mission with them, utilizing some of our unique military assets. And then the other part they have is outreach efforts. So they'll take a Lakota, fly it out, and do an educational research, or not educational outreach with our local schools, groups. Really doesn't matter. But for North Dakota students, 2,500 were impacted, and I say impacted. They were able to receive a brief on what it is and how they're helping the citizens of North Dakota. And really it's I would call it a modern age DARE program, if you're familiar. So it's really good to get them out there and interacting with our students in the state of North Dakota. Next slide here is the military gallery, and really so with the groundbreaking ceremony occurring on the 11th of July, and still on track or estimating the completion at 2027. And it's right on the Capitol grounds, and the one thing that is thrown up there, if you see the QR code, I know they've been asking and looking, and so for certain military items, and if the QR code lists out kind of what they're looking for or what they want to throw on display out there. And so I always throw it out there, if anybody's got items, they're willing to take them, but there it is, and we'll be definitely be an asset for North Dakota, especially with our the 400 seat National Guard regimental room, be able to host events out there. So definitely looking forward to the completion of this one. And that was my last slide I had. I threw this up here as well, just for if you haven't seen the North Dakota National Guard year-end review, the QR code's there as well. And then those joint counter UAS or UAS search and rescue missions, just some good, just the I guess the video or background story and what they are, and how we're getting after a joint interagency training with our partners, state, federal, and then internal North Dakota National Guard. And at that point, I will yield the floor for any questions that any of the committee may have.
I see no hands going up, but thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel Roy. This is Murray saying hi.
I seen your name on the list, Murray. Always good to hear your voice.
All right, thank you very much. All right, is Michelle Daniels up there? I can see her name right now.
Was, but she dropped off.
I'm trying to see her name up there right now.
Ready to give a presentation for. Okay, I can talk to myself.
Okay, we'll see if she comes back up.
I'll text her.
Okay, is Jerome around?
Jerome is not on there.
Jerome's not on. Okay, we'll jump into Chris Deary. I see he's up there.
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I did send everyone kind of an email I apologize. I didn't know kind of when you guys were getting started there with the, but anyway, here I am today. So lately, we've been kind of working on some things, related with the VA and homelessness. Sheila and I went out the other night. It was, January 29th. Excuse me. It was the pit count it's called. So they were, with us and other agencies out looking for homeless veterans, and they did find 3 unsheltered veterans, that are trying to get services. Some, that are going to be eligible for other things and not. But with SSVF and getting someone into Micah's Mission, one of the shelters that we have, some of the things we've been running into is all the shelters are full in Cass County. So we've kind of stepped up also with Clay County and offered some a night stay here or there to get someone to bed. Just I think yesterday or today, one of the shelters, New Life Center, I believe they have 38 to 40 beds open now. So that'll definitely take some relief off of us, and then hopefully, get some in place, some benefits and services for them. We do some outreach. So Tony and I will probably be going over there and seeing if we can get some more veterans, either signed up for services here, so for Service Connection, or again just into the VA that we can help with healthcare. That was at we did West Fargo and North Fargo, so kind of around the Dome area, out by Amazon, the Costco's, Walmart's, that kind of stuff. So Sheila and I saw activity of people, but on my watch here, when it's minus 30 degrees, we're gonna pay for a hotel. We're not gonna have that on and no one's gonna die pretty much on our watch here, so we don't want that to happen. But it looked like all 3 of those folks that were connected got services here. I have a training coming up in March. It's in DC. It's a NAC VSO training. So usually the first couple days are learning about different bills and legislation that'll be coming through. And then I get to meet with Hovind, Kramer, or Fedoracek, who's ever around. So if you do have any comments, questions, concerns, it's a week or so of training. The VA secretary popped in last time I was there, the undersecretary, National Cemetery undersecretary. So it's kind of the who's who that's in Georgetown this year. So if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please push those up to me. I'll be gladly pass those on to those folks, or to the interns or whatnot they're out there right now. I mean, we all know the climate in DC right now, so tread lightly on that. I don't know if I'll get a response or whatever, but at least I know I could say, hey, I dropped this off, or here's a note, or here's a suggestion, or here's something that can help North Dakota veterans. So just passing that along. A lot of the times too, not just Cass County, but we throw a lot of stuff on our Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, please go and try to find us. I shared some stuff in that email. It's the Cass County Veteran Service Office, Fargo, North Dakota. And I'll gladly accept your friendship there. But some of the things we share on there, like other scheduled events. So the freeze out for the Fisher House is on there. I'll be going over there tomorrow. Not really sure on what time I'll be up there, but I'll be staying overnight that first Friday, and I have to go get my bunny boots and whatnot. But it's for a good cause, and there'll be lots of dignitaries out there and stuff. Plus Lonnie twisted my arm, so just yelling at me the other day. So gotta take all commands from the tower on that one. But I'll be out there freezing my ass off, and it's like I said, it's for a good cause, and it's definitely needed. I was at the Ambets the other day. They had me over, and they have a fishing tournament too on the 8th from 12 to 3. Then statewide, there's a North Dakota tax credit that anyone can apply for if you're a homeowner. 1 per home, but that's beside the other homestead credit that veterans get. So we share a lot of information out there. This year too, just tooting our own horn, I guess, but we had a donation for the Salvation Army was full. So then we had a donation from the VFW and folks like that. So we got turkey dinners out to veterans that needed it. And some folks from our office with the help of the VA went and delivered turkey dinners. So things like that we do. We had a veteran win the Keys to Progress our car this year. So he was a veteran struggling with transportation and medical and issues like that. So it's a national program that we've had really good success. Richland County has had a winner of the vehicle, but they just pay for the car insurance, and it's a vehicle from Progressive. So that comes around, and that's open to all 53 counties in the state. So we push that out every year, and we've had really good success with that. We do a lot of volunteering. So actually, after work today, Heroes Compass is a nonprofit that Mr. Kuhn had started, and we're going to go drop off things to first responders. So we're just trying to outreach, and find more veterans. Supposedly we got about 5,000 more veterans that we can find in Cass County and get them into services and things like that. So that's kind of my goal this year, is to work with Lonnie's office and try to find that, and those folks that we can find, to get them signed up. Lonnie kind of mentioned too, we had that state training coming up. So that's in April 13th to the 16th. And if you have any suggestions on any speakers, we're kind of running out of, ideas, I guess, on that. But we have had the same stuff for a while, and maybe a change is good. And we have some money in the bank to pay some folks. So if you know anybody, please let me know. We can try to wrangle them over and have them talk to the VSOs from the 52 counties there. Or, if you're around in Fargo, just let us know, pop in and say hi, and I'm sure you'll probably be around there anyway. I'm working on a Department of Labor grant with Jerome, and we're trying to get some funds for our 3rd annual stand down. And that we have it on the books now at it will be 9/10/2026. And we're going to it's the 25th anniversary of 9/11. It will be our 3rd annual event, but there is a grant out there, so we can get about $7,000 to help with various items for the stand down, clothing, food, to-go packs, hygiene items, all that kind of stuff. So it's out there with federal funding. So trying my best to get Jerome the statistics he needs and things like that, so we can use some federal funding to help propel that event. Last year it won best outreach event in 2025 from Tyler Technologies. So we're pretty proud of that, and it's something that has kept growing over the years here. So I think the first couple times we had about 200, now we're up to almost 400 people coming through in downtown Fargo looking for services and getting a flu shot and all the wraparound services and things like that. So it's a really fun event. And again, if you're around Fargo during that time, it's in downtown at the Broadway Square, and it's really, really fun to engage, and there's a band and all that good stuff. So and then too, kind of some of the stuff we do where veterans are in need, they'll reach out to us. And we had a veteran, he got a catastrophic life event where he was in Vietnam, got cancer. He had about 6 months to live, and he needed a ramp. He got forced into a wheelchair, and that was kind of something special that we were able to help with the community. So, I mean, I'm definitely proud and glad that the FM community comes up, and we got a ramp for him, and he ended up passing away over Christmas. So he only lasted about 2 weeks. So it really meant a lot to the family and things like that. So anything kind of out of the scope that we can try to do and help comfort our veterans, we're definitely going to try. And we were out there putting the ramp on and screwing it on, and unfortunately it ended up passing real soon. So I hate to leave it on a sad note there, but that's part of the job. And but I'll entertain any questions here if you have any, or if there's any comments or questions for me later. Please feel free to email me. I pinged everybody kind of what we're doing. But if you have any suggestions, I'd be glad to hear those, or anything I can pass on to the VA as well.
I see no hands. Thank you, Chris.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, Michelle will not be joining us. She's in Milan, Italy at the moment.
Oh, okay.
And she wanted to pass along that she's made great connections with North Dakota Nurses Association to get ask the question out there.
work with the Compact Act to get our veteran service, you know, treated well, so. All the updates you have. Okay. Tom, Ryan, do you want to give us an update on the governing board? Very good. Your picture, we just don't see your mouth move.
Get back. But don't.
We're not hearing nothing from Tom.
All right.
All right, move on. We'll have, maybe, Dane Gray will give us an update then. Dane, are you there? There you are.
Here I am. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you. I am so heartbroken that I wasn't able to be up in Grand Forks with you guys. I was really looking forward to just going through the, being there on at the Air Force Base and, it wasn't able to work out. So, but I just think it's real cool that we're able to have these meetings, these ACOVA meetings at different locations. But I really bummed out that I couldn't get there. But anyway, I will just kind of go through and let you know what's going on here. And first and foremost, I always want to thank all of you who have served, and thank you for your service. That's always my first way I start any of my meetings here or wherever, but you know, especially with this crew. So thank you guys all for your respective service, guys and gals. Currently down at the vets home in our skilled unit, so that's 52 beds. Usually we're always right at 52, and we are down right now to 49, which so we have 3 open beds on our skilled unit. We do have about 4 different pending people pending for admit. Just finishing up paperwork on some of them and just going through the whole admission process. So that's I think in the year and a half I've been here, I don't recall us ever being under 50. And it's been for probably about maybe 3 weeks now that we've been under 50. So, but we do have multiple who are pending. And then on our basic side, our current census is at 60, and that's again out of 98 total beds. And I know we have, I think next week or the week after, we have 2 or 3 basic admits that'll be coming. So it's always kind of, you know, for any of our guys who are guys and gals who are basic care residents, they always go to the top of the list once there is an opening in skilled and if they're needing skilled. And so, I mean, honestly, of those 60 people over there, we probably have at least 3 or 4 who are teetering really close of needing skilled. And, you know, we can't make them go over there, but it's just one of the decision that, you know, either they would get to the point where they're not able to complete the activities that they need to do, activities of daily living to be a basic resident, but they might not feel they need to go over to skilled already. So we do have some that are right in there, but just to let you know where we're at. So the other next thing I was going to talk about is we were notified on January 27th from the VA that our domiciliary, so the basic care, we are now fully compliant. So if you remember me talking back when they came and did our survey in June, take it back, it was in July. And we had 1 citation in our domiciliary, and we got the same one over on our skilled side as well too. And that was because for how many years we've had a fidelity bond to cover all of our resident accounts that, you know, residents who bank with us or have their accounts here, and we help them with that. and we'd had a $2 million fidelity bond through the state for years and years and years. And for whatever reason, the surveyor who was here last time, said that needs to be a surety bond, which technically it does. But it had never been any type of issue before. So we got our surety bond, and then we had to show proof that we continued to have it for, I think, 3 or 4 months. So I literally would have to go around from my office and check in with Kristen and say, hey, we still got that surety bond. Yep, everything's good. It's paid for. We paid for a year, whatever. So, so then I have to send in an attestation of compliance, to the VA, and I got that sent to them, and the same day they sent us back acceptance of it and that we're good to go. So, you know, just one of those things that you have to do with your yearly surveys that they might show up on. So, as for the skilled nursing side, we have that same deficiency, and then we have 3 other ones. So we had a total of 4. One of them was the use of outside services. And so they wrote us up because we didn't have a sharing agreement for dental services with the Fargo VA. Again, and so we requested it, and the Fargo VA denies it, and it's just a dance that you go back and forth. But so we've got that straightened out, and then we had just 2 other ones on comprehensive assessments and comprehensive care plans, and we got all those straightened out. But then we have to go through and just show documentation that we've changed everything. And so the skilled side will be, as of April 30th, we'll get the letter saying we're fully compliant, but we have to continue showing that we're doing what we said we're doing. So some of those only take 3 months. Some of them, they want documentation of, 6 months that you changed something. So, but we did get the one for the domiciliary on the 27th. So I just wanted to share that. And when we get those deficiencies, it's not like we can't take new people. It's not like it's an immediate jeopardy or anything like that. It's just, when they do surveys, they're going to come here to try to find you on anything. So, but we're working through that. So everything's good on that. We do have finally, we will have a full North Dakota Veterans Home Governing Board. We did get Trent Barkus, got his application, whatever, submitted to Lonnie and I, and that might be something that we'll talk more about tomorrow as well too. But we did get a completed application. He confirmed and accepted. So now we will have a full governing board. And our next board meeting is Thursday, April 9th. So that's cool. I've talked with Trent a little bit. Seems like a really, really good guy. So we're excited about that. So we do have new North Dakota Veterans Home television commercials. So I know they go out through the North Dakota Cares puts them out as well. And so those got updated. And as of the first of the year, those had been hitting the airwaves for television, and we have a radio one as well too. So those are out now. January 16th, we had Bank of North Dakota, or not Bank of North Dakota, excuse me, Bank of the North, which is a branch here in Lisbon. They came and did a really good presentation on fraud prevention for our residents. And it was fantastic, and we had really good turnout, and they had good examples and just a lot of, good things to keep your eyes open for. Sadly, just last week, I had a resident, a basic care resident, come to my office wanting me to sign off on something. And I'm like, what is this about? And it was one of these agencies who was going to help him get to be a higher level of service connection. And I'm like, you haven't paid, have you given him any? And he already had given him money. And so these companies are out there, and they're trying to take advantage of our veterans. So we're dealing with that one with him, but just to be mindful of everyone on those things. And I know as I think it was at last summer at the Vietnam Veteran Association conference, they talked a lot about it. It's just, there's still these ruthless people out there who are doing stuff like that, and just irritates me. But right now, what's going on this week, our CFO, Kristen, and then our marketing and admission manager, Susie, they are both actually out in Arlington, Virginia right now for the National Association of State Veterans Homes. And they're there for the full week, and I've been getting comments from them back and forth. Tremendous networking with all the other state veteran homes. And then a lot of, I know they met with Julie Fedorchek, who, trying to remember some of the other ones, but just a lot of good education and networking, just as the VA has really been pushing a lot of different costs or shifting costs around back onto state homes. So I was really, really happy that both of them were able to go. So they will be back Monday. They'll be back to work, but they both have been out there, and it's just a really great opportunity for them to go out to that. So as for challenges, we still, our biggest challenge continues to be staffing of those skilled RN positions. Right now, we have 5 open RN positions and 4 open CNA positions. And it kind of goes ebbs and flows a little bit. I think of those 5, we have a couple who are out on FMLA. So we're, I don't know at what point we're, just because of where we're located down here in Lisbon, where we wouldn't have to utilize staffing agencies, because it's so hard to get, to get RNs who want to, we're far enough off of I-94 and I-29 to get them to come down here, and whether it's to start a family or to, find a life partner and move here, or whatever the deal is. But we just continue to struggle with that. So that's our biggest thing. And so part of me not being up in Grand Forks today is just because Susie and I thought we'd be okay with both Susie and Kristen being gone, but we've had some other staffing challenges that have come up this week, and I'm like, I can't knowingly leave here just knowing how much we're kind of struggling right now. So but that's our biggest things. We're making it by, we're doing good, but I don't know, and we, whether it's pay, and we tried, we increased with pay, so we're competitive with other places as well. But I just think that will continue to be a tough, that'll probably always be one of the hardest challenges for us down here, is getting, the skilled nurses. So, but other than that, like I said, things are going well. Look for those new commercials. I know a lot of them seem to air early mornings, but yeah, other than that, like I said, things are going good down here. And if anyone has any questions, please shout them out.
Seen all hands, but we did have a good tour up there. I'll tell you what, you missed a good one. Got a base up there, so. Oh, Tom's got a question up there. Go ahead, Tom. Let's see the voice come through. Go ahead, Tom. For some reason, your mic is not coming through, Tom. You're lighting up, it's coming out.
And Tom, I think you have my phone number too. So if you have a question specific to us, I know that we've texted before, so you can always, I'm usually always here, so you can always reach out to me as well, Tom, if it's something specific to what's going on right now. And that goes obviously for any of you guys.
You put it in the chat too, Tom, if you want. Oh, you smaller. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. We got Al Dorman with the governor's office sneaking in behind us.
Thanks for the kind introduction and for holding your applause. Sorry I'm late. I actually had an appointment with Colonel Gonzalez. I don't know if he was part of your tour. But I think he took command out at the air base, last summer. Did you?
He didn't meet with us. He didn't meet with us today. He said he's gonna meet with you.
Well, we got a great partner there. Smart guy, lots of enthusiasm. The town of Grand Forks, like every air base commander before him, have totally embraced him. And he actually really wanted to come to Grand Forks. And you don't always hear that from people when they're looking for their 06 command, trying to fight their way into Grand Forks. So that spoke volumes for me, but good man. And I'm going to be very brief because unless things have changed, the governor's on your agenda for later on this afternoon. But it's great to be with you all. We might be the only people in the hotel. I pulled up and I see a lot of patriotic license plates and not much else. It seems like a really nice place, so I guess we have it to ourselves. That's all the better. One thing I wanted to share with the group though is we're really starting the process for the budget build for next legislative session. It seems like we just got done with one and now we're starting a new one. But some things have changed since last biennium. I think a couple of meetings ago, talked a little bit about the changes that were made in the governance structure within the ACOVA. I don't think that really changes the process. The difference is, I mean, you are the governor's advisor on Veterans Affairs. I think the change is that this is going to more formally bring the recommendations out of the ACOVA into the governor's executive budget recommendation and get you aligned with the rest of the cabinet agencies. I told you before, the way these changes in governments were made, I don't like. You should change policy in a conference committee and an appropriations bill. But I do see a lot of benefit in improving the relationship between the governor's office and the ACOVA, and giving the commissioner the weight of the governor's office when it comes time to testify in appropriations bills. So looked at your bylaws. I think the way you go about building that recommendation still makes sense. I don't think we have Veterans Affairs scheduled for a formal budget review. We do that with some of the bigger agencies. But I would also offer up that if we need to have that discussion, we absolutely will. For sure, Lonnie, you and I, and probably Beth got to sit down, bring in your budget analyst from OMB, but just to make sure we're coming in with a unified front from the ACOVA, from Veterans Affairs, from the governor's office on what we think needs to be done in the next legislative session. I've been around state government for a while, and since 2018, every economic forecast has been pretty good. I don't anticipate we're going to have a pretty good economic forecast when it comes out late March, early April. Oil was down to $50 a barrel. I think it stuck back up over 60 and then went back down. But all the more reason that we work collectively and speak with one voice on what we need to do for our veterans in the next biennium. You guys got a great product. You got a lot of support from legislators. I think we got to think about how do we strategically engage with them between now and the legislative session. Everybody in this room probably knows one. We probably know who can help us get things done and who, well, I say sometimes you don't want to avoid the ones that are distractors because at least you want to know what's on their mind before you get to the hearing. So anyway, I think, again, great support for veterans in North Dakota, great support for the military in North Dakota. So I don't want to be too down, but I think the economic picture of the next biennium is not going to be what we've been used to for the last 4 years. I was here when we had the allotment in 2017. I think that's the last time North Dakota was forced to tighten its belt up a little bit. And that might be the case again in this next biennium. I think I'll stop there. If anybody has any questions, excited that the governor is coming here this afternoon. There was I don't know if it's in the bylaws or in law, and Lonnie and I have had this discussion, but there used to be a requirement for the president. Is that your title? Sure. Chairman. I don't know, is president better? All right. Chairman. For the chairman and the secretary to brief the governor once a year. In my time being affiliated with the ACOVA, I don't recall that ever happened. And I think it should happen. I think the communication between the ACOVA and the governor and the governor's office should be as good as any other agency. So I'm really glad he's coming this afternoon. You can hear what's on his mind a little bit. He's always open for questions, but strengthening that relationship, I really see as a positive for our veterans and the employees. So I'll stop there. Any questions for me? Yeah, it's so easy. I never get any hard questions. What's that?
It was so short, sir.
So, well, you're really gracious. You would have said so thorough. I'll take short. Yeah, I used to be an officer and a recovering lawyer. So anytime somebody tells me I was short, I'm like, oh, that's about the highest compliment you can pay me. So I appreciate it. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna meet the committees right now. Table, I forgot to mention yesterday, she had time to think about it. I says, what is your favorite thing to do in North Dakota? And what is your favorite place to visit in the United States? And Nathan's the one that brought that question up yesterday in the bus. That's why when the girls asked you what your favorite duty station was, so that's what made me think of that. So that's why I got those two questions for the round table. And the reason I brought it up is I like to travel in North Dakota, I like to travel in the United States. I want to know where what I'm missing, put it that way. If there's someplace I'd like to go, if it's North Dakota, I'll take my camp. If it's the United States, I'll fly there or drive there, don't matter. Next committee, the Legislative and Strategic Planning Committee. That'd be Ryan. Who's got your report?
Right here.
Right there, okay.
Okay. Location was Ramada Inn in Grand Forks, North Dakota, 2/5/26. Meeting called to order at 15:32 by Brian Bartlett. In attendance was Brian, Tom Ryan, Tom Newton, and myself. Agenda was approved. Tom Ryan made a motion. Tom Newton seconded it. Passed. Had no guests. Meeting minutes of the last meeting were read. Motion by Tom Newton, seconded by Tom Ryan. There was discussion and it passed. Number 4, legislation. We reviewed it and discussed and passed that. Number 6, Senate Bill 2025. We reviewed and discussed. Now, everything that we reviewed and discussed was also at the last meeting. So this is kind of repetitious of the last meeting, but we did go through them and review them and stuff. So the bridges, again, we reviewed and discussed. House Bill 1293, we reviewed and discussed it. And we recommend to Lonnie to go with the round medallion. Go ahead and purchase a copy of the sample of them and bring it to our next meeting. We felt the other ones colored, the sun would fade them or anything, but bronze we thought would be the best to move forward with our committee. Senate Bill 2265, reviewed and discussed. Number 7, reviewed and discussed possible. Then we went into possible legislation items for 2027. Tom Newton motion to adjourn after we discussed that. Tom Ryan seconded. Motion passed. we adjourned at 16:55. So I'd like to make a motion for, the committee to approve our minutes.
Jacob made the motion to approve the legislative strategic planning committee. Is there a second to that?
The battalions need to be voted on by the entire committee.
Right, we'll make the motion. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, we'll stop right now. Medallions, they want to have a motion to purchase those medallions.
Our recommendation was the five services, the reserve services, the coins. I don't know if you can bring that picture of everybody. The last month's or last meeting we had. Did you show that in your, it was in your commissioner's report?
Yep.
It's a big
Errors in that though, I think.
errors, yeah.
Yeah,
Navy Reserve,
Navy,
Department of Navy.
and it says Navy twice and then Marine Corps Forces. So
Yeah, we will.
make sure that that's correct.
The guy that, said he can produce those for us, or at least make them available, he did those as the mock-ups. So yeah, good
But you'll
catch.
get better proofs.
Yeah, we'll get better proofs before they send them to us.
Okay, and the flag behind Marine Corps.
So it should be exact replicas of the Navy Reserves.
Yeah, because the US behind the Marine Corps emblem is kind of.
It
weird.
says United States Navy, then it says Navy Reserve on the bottom.
Yep.
But then it says, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Marine Corps
that's the way it
Forces.
is.
That's, I think it's correct.
That's the way their emblems are.
Is it there?
Yep,
Okay,
I'm sorry about that, yeah.
In Marine Corps Forces? That's
Correct.
all right.
that is correct.
So yeah, he just took those directly from
Never heard it that
what the
way.
Marine Corps forces have, and, he would make those available to us. No mock-up costs or.
Alright. During the meeting, or when you guys were having a meeting, me and, Lonnie were looking them up at that site. 3x3 or 3-inch one was $75. The 4-inch one was $189, right? And the 6-inch one was $348. So what size you want to get?
3 inch is what we'll recommend.
Okay. Dave, do you want to make that a motion to get the proofs made up to us?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Dave made the motion. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, we got 3 seconds between Cynthia, Tom, and Todd.
I'll write down Todd because it's not gonna work.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Just to add to that, this is what we want to go with.
Yes.
We're not creating our own, is really all you're doing. We have no funding for this. But I can get some initial copies out, we get up funding for that. And, we'll be working with, you and some other options and we're visiting with, or Mr. Dorman, to come up with how we can move forward. Cause we feel we do need to provide these during this biennium. And so I'll get an idea what it'd take to get about 10, 20 of these and, maybe get some gaming funds or whatever other source we can have. Might have some funds in another fund of ours, see if that can be used to get us through this biennium. So just so you know, at that point, then we probably bring back to you guys for more recommendations, so. And I did misspeak yesterday, there's not a hole in the middle. There's a screw in the middle of the back that screws in, so I thought that would look pretty bad if they put a screw right in the middle of this emblem, but.
Yeah, there's 3 with attachment, one with the epoxy, one was with that screw, and the third one, I can't remember what, there's that tape, double-faced tape or something like that.
Yeah. So,
We did some research.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so since we're in discussion, I want to really quickly point out that Jack made a motion to accept his report and then
I
Brian.
rejected that one. Or down.
You rejected
Take a
that
second.
one?
Yep, I'd take a second on it.
Okay,
Yes, I'm about to back up here. We'll take care of this first, then we'll accept that part second.
okay. So, then not heavy discussion on this topic is that sounds good to me, you guys. I appreciate you working on it. Brian, whatever the picture was that you held up had only 5 on, you've got the 7 there, so just I'm pretty sure that 7 is the right number. So
okay.
just make sure that we are covering all of the categories of veterans who may not have the full eligibility to, or may not have
There's
the
very such thing as the Air Force Reserve, then that's supposed to be done just like the Army Reserve.
Good catch.
We don't have a Space Force Reserve, and I don't believe there's an Air Force Reserve.
Right here.
But those, if there's an emblem out there for another one, he's not gonna charge us. For the mock-up, he would just be the costume for.
Any more discussion? Oh,
I just have two quick questions. So is this just to be done during the this year, the anniversary of our country? Or is this something that people that have buried their loved veterans can go back and purchase
Yes.
that and put it on?
yes, exactly.
Understood, thank you.
That was the problem when we had it. When you go to put the flags out at the cemetery, if you're not, got your regular army designator on there, we're trying to find the National Guard guys too,
If the family wants
if the
it.
family wants to. Any more discussion?
Question, do we have an understanding of what the total cost is that we're looking for gaming funds yet?
My initial fiscal note that I submitted to legislation, I used what I get from Pam, who is the state cemetery director. She gets all the burials around the state also. And then we did a percentage that would be guard and reserve that aren't veterans. And so I used that formula. And then I guesstimated what it would cost to pay for the mock-up and all that good stuff before we got this guy. That was 45,000. I will figure out what it would cost to just get 10, 20 of these in our inventory, to start out and see if we can get some funds, but I can get the math out and I'll send it to everybody and maybe we can get, some funds donated for it just to get it through the biennium or use our other funds, so. It should be minimal and, thanks to the many wars we've had in the nineties and now many of the veterans, Guard and Reserve have veteran status. And so.
Right.
It's mostly those that served in the eighties and whatnot. But, as I understand it, the intent is for those who were buried. Just like with the funeral coin, they get one. But if the family wanted to go retroactive, that would probably take legislation to say, yeah, let's provide them. But, normally the programs are going forward. Put them on there. Thank you.
Mr. Dorman, do you have something yet?
I don't want to hijack the meeting.
No, that's okay.
The only thing I was gonna add is, and Lonnie, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but commissioned officers of the Public Health Service are eligible for burial at veteran cemeteries, I believe. I don't know if that's something we have to look at.
They're eligible for VA benefits, so they would get the actual medallion.
Okay.
Good point.
Any more discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, now I'll have, Jacob, do you want to make your motion?
Okay, now I'll make a motion for the committee to approve our minutes.
Okay, the motion is made. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Nathan made a second. Any more discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. In the post-war trust fund and then the appeal. We got that one. You got that one, Dave?
Yeah, I got that one,
Okay.
Chairman. Post-war trust fund subcommittee minutes of the location in Grand Forks. Date of February 5th, 2026, meeting called to order at 15:33 by Chairman Trish Hodney. Chairman Hodney present, Dave Hillren present, Steve Anderson has been excused, Jim Papa present, Todd Roth present. Motion to approve the agenda by Todd Roth, seconded by Dave Hillren. And the motion was passed. Minutes of the last meeting were read and distributed. The minutes of 11/15/25 from Fargo. Accept the minutes, but motion was made by Jim Hopla, seconded by Todd Roth. Motion also passed. It passed unanimously. Fisher House CDs were to be extended for reinvestment as as previously discussed in the prior meeting. Agenda was reviewed, the item number 4 was reviewed. No discussion. Item 5 was reviewed. Item 6 on Patriot license plates was also reviewed. And 7, income tax checkoff, reviewed. And a total checkoff collection of 159, 177.94. Number 8 was discussed in regards to the veterans gaming tax. And this is to be brought forward in the next legislative. There was item 9, there was nothing was discussed. The item 11, adjournment, motion made by Todd, seconded by Jim, carried. Adjourned at 16:13. I submit the subcommittee minutes for a motion for approval to the full committee.
Do you want to read your appeals one first? Then we'll do
If you want to do both, okay.
Yep.
Appeal subcommittee minutes, location Grand Forks. Date 2/5/26. Called to order by Chairman Hodney at 16:14. Hodney being present, Dave Hillen present, Steve Anderson excused. Tim Hoffman present, Todd Roth present. Motion to approve the agenda by Jim, seconded by Todd. Motion passed. Minutes of the meeting were read and distributed for November 14th, 2025. Motion acceptance by Jim Hoffa, seconded by Todd Rowe. Motion passed. Appeal procedures were to be reviewed at the next meeting as this had been brought up in the prior meeting also. We're carrying it forward. Reading of the guidelines and preparing for a scheduled appeal of denial of a hardship grant. The hardship grant during the live hearing was held at 16:27. Chairman Hodney, David Hillen, Jim Hopkins, Todd George, and the chair the chair explained the provisions of grant policies on immediate and urgent needs. This appeal was upheld for impact grant denial by the commissioner. Motion to adjourn by Todd Hall, second by Jim Hopkins, carried at 16:50. Adjournment. I submit both the appeal and both our trust fund subcommittee minutes as a motion to be approved by full committee.
Okay, you heard the minutes from both meetings. And you heard the motion to accept the minutes from both meetings. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second, and then I have something for discussion.
Okay, Trish seconded to accept the post-work trust fund and appeals minutes. What's the discussion? Go ahead.
And then in discussion, I just want to say that we also went over the 410 accounts, and that was one of those items on our agenda in the numbering, and it looked like there was enough funding for the grant program, and if we were wrong on that, to let us know, but it looked like you were good until the next meeting, and that you didn't need us to allocate anything else. You correct on that assessment?
Yep, no, that's correct. We do have a significant amount of CDs that will come due in the next 2 quarters. And the treasurer had opted to give us a better rate on a 1-year, $277,000 CD that comes due next December, because you get a better rate on a year than you do for 2 years now with the way things go. And then at that time, he'll break those down into quarters again. So thanks to the treasurer and the 377,000, we were able to raise the income and asset levels from the post-work trust fund. And you guys have had the transportation, which is the soft start, like we said. So right now we are flush with the cash we need. And when it comes due in March, also your legacy fund comes due in March, which you guys put 30,000 in that. So we kind of cut short on what we're going to put in from this year's allotment because that comes due. So we should be good until well after May.
And our understanding was that didn't need our permission to reinvest that Fisher House interest So we're just recommending that you do that when it comes to an amount that it makes sense.
Yeah, correct. So we put the 59,000 in interest earnings into a CD, and already we have another 44,000 in cash. So, thanks for the, ability to react to that quickly. The treasurer's office will watch that and buy CDs appropriately.
Okay,
So,
we had done that a few meetings back. We just wanted to make sure that we weren't dropping anything on that part.
you know, I don't think the interest to keep up with inflation as far as the cost of this new veterans or Fisher House, but, it's really making a difference. So,
And if anybody wants to be interested, there is a breakout in the binders on, where the CDs are invested in, the rate that we were getting and the rate that we were getting in 20 and 21 for some of the ones that were invested then, and it's quite a difference, right? 1% to 45%. So, we aren't doing well in that respect. And, as far as the appeal goes, we were pretty clear with that veteran, and we did suss out some information that, the veteran could get grant money for. What they had applied for, they could not, but there were some things in their personal situation that they could, if they choose to go forward and apply for the grant for the things that they are actually eligible for. So you were trying to inform them of the things that did apply versus the things that they were trying to get the grant for. Can't pay for things that are already expended, but we can pay for things that are in need now that you haven't paid for yet. So those don't count, but estimates do. So we hope that was as clear as it could be. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say.
Any other discussion on post-war trust fund appeals subcommittee report? Not? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chairman's report, I don't really have anything more to add to that report. Do we have to, on the governing board, do we have to make this appointment?
yes, Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, we had that one gentleman decided he wasn't gonna jump onto the Fisher House, the Veterans Home Governing Board. So I believe Trish made a nomination recommendation for Trent Marcus. Trent Marcus has since provided an application. He's very interested in serving on the governing board. You guys have that in your handout, and so yeah, you would need to make that appointment. That would start immediately. And then also want to follow up that there's the two members on the governing board currently serving are wishing to continue. And that would be Kathy Keough and and Tom Ryan. Both have indicated they would take another term if you guys so wish to keep that.
So do I need a motion to appoint Trent Vargas and reappoint Kathy and Tom?
Nope. At this time, your appointment is just for the open position.
Okay.
If you guys want to jump ahead and do that, I guess their appointment or their term ends June 30th of this year. So it's up to you if you want to let them know that they're reappointed.
I'm happy to make the motion to reappoint them early
Yeah.
if they're willing to serve, and to appoint Trent Vargas for the open position.
Second it.
Trish made the motion to reappoint Kathy and Tom, Ryan, and Joe seconded. Any other discussion?
Do that too.
And to appoint Trent Vargas in the open position. It was
Okay, we'll do that one second.
Okay.
We'll just do that as a second motion.
Okay, that was my question, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
we're just doing, do these two first, then we'll go to the new appointments. Reappointment of Kathy Keough and Tom Ryan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we can make the motion to appoint Terry Marcus.
No move.
Trish made the motion to appoint Trent Marcus. Is there a second?
I'll say second.
Joe seconded. Any further discussion? Application is pretty much, it tells a lot of information on the application, I see.
Yeah.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. I'm in place of next to ACOVA meeting. The code appointments for 2026, we need to put our name back in, or how's that?
Okay, so each of your respective organizations need to submit the two names. Steve Anderson has indicated to me that he will not be running because he's a national executive committee member now with the American Legion. And the American Legion did meet and they said they have two names that they are gonna submit to the governor's office. Other than that, we have Joe Best, Dave Hillerin, Tom Ryan, and Murray Strom all coming up this year. If you're interested in continuing, you need to let your organizations know. Either way, your organization needs to submit two names. And if somebody on that, of those two names has not previously submitted an application, they need to do so on the governor's website. And a letter does need to come from your organization, nominating those two names. And normally it's due by June 20th, but, you can do it right away. When you've got the names, get them in so the governor's office has time to do their research.
Okay.
Do we want to ask if, anybody's planning to not run again?
Joe, you running again?
Well, if you guys want me back, I'll keep coming back.
Dave?
Well, we'll see about that.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any, there's not that many Vietnam veterans left, and I'm pretty sure that, Dan is gonna squeeze on me again. So so imagine, seems we're the last man standing group. I don't want to be the last man, but I guess I'll have to.
And I'll be running again too, so. I'm not out right now, but I'm guessing he's running again too.
Yep.
Okay, I'm in place of next meeting. This is supposed to be when, probably.
The middle month of the middle of the next, quarter, which would be in May.
Hey, yep.
So, right, so the second quarter is April, May, and June.
Right, so.
Right, so we conversationally at our end of the table last night discovered that May is pretty complicated for a lot of people, especially if they're relating to an academic schedule. So we were, again, conversationally discussing whether the first week of June might work for people. So as we are discussing, if there's any difficulty with May, maybe we could just go the first week of June. Because of May's schedule, it either needs to be at the very beginning of May in order to sort of get it out of the way with everything else that happens, or be the first week of June.
And the state convention for the VFW is in Minot this year, 19th, 20th, 21st of June.
Yep, that's on the sheet. Seems like that first week of June will work. As far as I know.
Not gonna work for me now. I forget, I gotta go to.
Chris, you're one of the people I'm like.
I know, I forget my niece is graduating in South Carolina and I can't miss it. Second week in June is, let's see, what is that?
Is the very first week of May functional for you?
First week of May is gorgeous, I think, let's look.
Because
Are
then
we talking the 7th, 8th, or 7th, 8th is open?
I mean, if we kept it in May, then we would be comporting with, you know, what Lonnie's saying, which is, that's the middle month of the quarter.
Yeah, the second week of May is good, the third week of May is good. I didn't know if anybody had high school graduation, so if you don't have high school graduation, you're not gonna be
We're
affected.
meeting on the Thursday, Friday, so it.
Yeah, that shouldn't affect it, so.
It should be a weekend thing, I'm thinking.
So the 14th, 15th would be the best for me, but I don't know what everybody else.
Got AMVET State Convention that weekend.
Okay, 7th, 8th, I can do.
When is Mother's Day? Can I ask? 'Cause
I don't have a clue.
I usually have my kids all home.
That's not great.
It's only third.
Well, when is Mother's Day?
21st, 22nd?
Yeah, okay.
Thursday.
I wouldn't be able to be here, but you don't have to go with that.
We did it Thursday.
What's 21st, 22nd?
Yeah, they come in Thursday and Friday, but,
Reasonable.
you know, I'm just one person.
Anything, that's before Memorial Day, right?
Let's go before. 17th is early.
What about the 21st, 22nd?
Anybody that needs to go to a graduation or anything.
Got two brothers.
7 and 8.
You have 2 graduations?
One's my granddaughter.
You just have the law banquet, but I should miss it. It's not a big deal.
You said 7th and 8th would work for you?
Yeah, I mean, if I can make it back on the 8th for the law school banquet, that's great. If I can't, that's fine too.
We should for the 7th and 8th of May. Like,
Depends on where we go.
AMVET's the 7th and 8th of May, right? It's the what?
That's 15,
16. Okay.
There's one other option for keeping it in May and on a weekend, we could go Friday the 1st and Saturday the 2nd.
Yeah. That would be better. Nope, I'm gone. Don't look at my schedule. You can always attend by Zoom.
Well, we were,
Trying to get me in person, I know. Okay,
yeah,
7th
we
and
were trying
8th.
to get you in person. We were also trying to just be considerate of the
yeah,
points
we're
that you
trying to
brought
make
up.
it
So,
perfect.
I know, I appreciate that. I should have looked at my calendar before I said it. 7th, 8th would be perfect.
Let's shoot, get that should be plenty early enough, let's just call it graduation, but I don't think so better. Let's shoot for 7th and 8th, where do we want it at?
on our rotation, I'd advocate for us going up to Minot or something western, but not Bismarck.
Don't like that.
Well,
Well, around legislation time, we're there.
A lot.
yeah.
Grafton,
I do like-
Minot.
Yeah, we're just back to camp.
What's May look like for either of them?
Camp should be okay yet, I think.
The baseball.
Yeah, another bait tour, yeah.
I think it's time to break in the new guy.
Until it's perfect, you're gonna have to keep on doing it.
Yeah, that's true. You're gonna be here for a long time. Oh, mine was perfect.
Chairman, if we do go to, Minot, does, Dan set up the hotel or do we have to?
Yep, they take care of that part.
Okay, set it up, but then we want.
They're a little bit smarter than this group.
Yeah. I think Minot's a good place.
7th, 8th, Minot, that's good with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay,
And, we will try to find a hotel that has meeting space, but, if we're gonna do a tour, if you guys wanna get to the Air Force Base, we can always ask if they have meeting space there. Or we can also reach out to the National Guard and, do a visit there and have a meeting there, so. We'll let you know what we can find.
The VFW post just renovated their upstairs too, so that's a nice meeting space.
Oh, okay. That'd be a good thing. Got some, mental health, programs going on in Minot together with vets that I like to have come in and visit with you guys. It's a national thing, that went through the rural health, committee that I'm on. And, they're the only ones that grabbed it for North Dakota and they've taken off very well and done a lot of work, so. Maybe we can have them in and
Did they
Yeah,
get
well,
a new
thank you.
CBOC too?
they
In
just,
Minot?
they're redoing their CBOC too, yep.
that was gonna go, and I said, I picked that up too in my notes.
Okay, yep.
Grand Forks has moved into their new one, if anybody wants to check that out before you leave town.
Okay, we'll try that, we'll try for 7th, 8th, May and Minot.
Now for Todd and others, you'll be soon getting a little notice from Calendar Whiz that says, has the state on there, won't have all the data, but accept it, and that way you'll get, these meeting appointments and changes.
Who's ever responsible for that already got that, so thank
You
you.
did get a
for setting it up.
Calendar Whiz ready? Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
Yep, set it up already, so thank you for sending it.
yeah, thank you. Sorry, sir.
Okay, your roundtable discussion, we'll start over here with. There, Tom?
Which town?
Tom Newton.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yep, for Tom, roundtable discussion, how the meeting went, what's your favorite place in North Dakota and United States?
Yep, the meeting went very well. We had a great committee breakout yesterday. And I'm sorry that I missed the meeting this week, but I also am looking forward to our next meeting in Minot. Thank you.
really want me to say what's on my mind.
Sure.
No,
You can see what's went wrong and.
well,
Right?
the hotel situation is always challenging. You know, no matter what hotel we try, it always seems to be some snafu that we end up having to work through, so. That's not on you guys, that's on us, so. I thought the tour went well. I would like to send a certificate of appreciation from the ACOVA to Public Affairs Office. If that's something you would like to sign, Murray?
Sure.
Okay, yep, I'll put that together and, we'll have you sign it, send it off to them. I thought they did a really good job. As far as Ramada, the rooms were good. They had breakfast, they had a lounge, so, everybody was entertained, I hope. And I thought the rooms are in pretty good shape, being as old as this building is, so I like that. And then, the meeting rooms, they did set us up pretty good. So I can't complain about that. I think this was, overall a very good meeting, so hopefully the next one could be just. What was my favorite place in North Dakota? I like all the state parks. Been to most of them and not a one's been bad. And, in fact, we went back to a couple several times just because they're so nice. So I think that's kind of a hidden gem for North Dakota. They do a great job in the state parks and I don't think they get enough credit. But if you ever have a chance, go camping in a state park. It's beautiful, it's cheap. And then you're gonna see areas in North Dakota you didn't know existed. So I really like that. My favorite place in the States. I think it was when I was stationed in Monterey, California. It's right on the ocean. I was lucky to have base housing, so I have to pay exorbitant rents, but, I had my two youngest that were still with us and they really enjoyed it. And, there was something to do every day. So I think Monterey, California is probably top office. You don't have to give me money.
Cash. No, I was up this last week. I was down in, Grand Canyon. That's a national park. So I wanted to get this, hey, I'm a veteran. So they hand out this card, you sign the back of it, you go to anywhere in the United States for free.
You can order it online.
She did right there at the gate for me.
That was nice.
Yeah, it says military on it, you just put it up there, you free pass, so. I thought that was pretty good, that's saving about 20 bucks going through the gate.
You went for North Dakota.
Can you? Okay,
Is there an age thing on that? Yeah, it used to be.
is there what?
An age thing or is that just military?
Veteran.
Used to be if you were 62, they give that to you.
Oh, just for veterans. Like, pull up military ID, they give it to me.
Thought you were gonna say something else about being 81 years old.
But when I did retire, we went on a motorcycle ride, three of us. And one of the guys was too young and couldn't get that. Every park we went to, he had to pay 20. He got to Yellowstone. He said, I'm gonna ride around the back and I'll meet you on the other side. He looked at the map and said, no, I ain't gonna do that.
I guess it's my turn. This is my first ACOVA meeting, so I appreciate everyone's patience with me as I figure out formalities and things I'm supposed to be doing and not doing. And everyone was warm and welcoming. I enjoyed that we buy each other rounds of drinks and chat afterward. Also, the airbase tour was wonderful. I haven't been on too many Air Force bases, so it was nice to see what they did. That's it. Yeah, hotel worked. It's good. Meeting space was big. I think the one we did with Fargo, we were tight packed in there, so lots of room here. And I'm excited to keep doing what I'm doing. My favorite place in North Dakota is Broadway Square, downtown Fargo. They always have events going on for the kids. They have a skating rink up right now. My favorite place in the US is Boston. I think Boston's the greatest city in the world. Been there a bunch of times. It's got the sports culture and the school, the great science museum, and right by the water, and it's pretty nice.
Never been up to that area before.
But you bet the bank remained though. Well,
yeah, no, I was Bangor, not Maine, I was out in Bangor, Washington.
Oh, that's right, you go with that.
Honey,
All right, my favorite, place to go in North Dakota is the ACOVA meeting, of course, you know. I do like going to Medora, with my family. We meet our other outlaws from, Billings come down. We enjoy, Medora every year. It's, makes me a regular golfer. I golf once a year in Medora, so I want a regular thing. After this weekend, my favorite place won't be the northeast corner of West Acres, because it's gonna be a long day or a long weekend, but, I like to go anywhere that I haven't been in the United States. I like to check out new places, as long as it's not too crowded, and, unfortunately, my kids like to hike, so I guess I like to go hiking now, so that's a good thing. I think things went pretty well for, our team's first time doing this, so thank you, Dan and, Jonathan, for all your efforts, and we're educating another hotel about how tax exemption works. But I think they were pretty hospitable to us, so I do appreciate that. And just a little update, last night I did visit quite a bit with somebody that really wants to leave a gift to Veterans Affairs for veterans. Not sure what they want to do with it, but they're putting us in their will. They got a bunch of land down south, and so Mary at Richland County contacted us, and so maybe it'll be the Fisher House again, but it's amazing how people do want to support our veterans, so I do appreciate that and appreciate what you guys do, and Todd Ruth, I'm gonna get it right. I know a lot of Roths, and you're my first real, so welcome aboard. It's been nice visiting with you. Thanks for deciding to serve. That's all I got, sir.
we stayed in Medora camping just south of Bully Pulpit. There's a little farmstead right there. You put about 10, 15 campers on there. They got a couple houses you can rent there too. So you're out in wilderness more, not downtown. So that was fun too.
Yeah.
It's one place you can rent those places out there. That's, yeah, that, Medora is fun to go through. So. Well, yeah,
I really enjoyed our tour of the air base and stuff, and all them drones. It just fascinate me, you know, when you get to see one that close and that big wingspan on that thing. I was really impressed. The colonel did a good job with his presentation, and the girls we had taking us around were real pleasant and friendly, and I really enjoyed that. And I've been on the ACOVA, 2 years now, and this is the first time the governor has been there to, you know, speak to us, and I thought that was really nice for him to put us on the agenda to meet with us, and I enjoyed that. As far as North Dakota, my favorite place is ride motorcycle through the Medora area. I like going through the Badlands on there. For the United States, probably Yellowstone and Glacier ride motorcycle through there is probably one of the best scenery places I've gone to on my motorcycle, and I enjoyed that. And Todd, welcome aboard. Pleasure visiting with you.
yeah, the tour out there, you can pull up a big hangar. It's like, yeah, there's 2, 3 planes in there. There's one because of the wingspan. You know, that was unbelievable how wide that thing is. Yeah, that was very interesting. Rick?
Well, our meeting was awesome. Really enjoyed the tour. What else? I mean, I did not realize the Air Force had the dogs or what else. I really enjoyed that, and love dogs. It was fun to see that and knowledge of what else what they can do. I also really enjoyed going up in that tower and seeing that vastness. It reminded me of an attorney that I met years ago. He grew up in New York City, never had left the city. He had to come to North Dakota for some attorney work, postal service that I was working with, and I took him out of Fargo, and I drove to Castleton and went to the overpass, and made me stop the car. He had to get out. He said he'd never seen that much space in his life. And he was 58 years old at the time, so you know, it reminded me of that, getting up on that tower and seeing the vastness of the space. And it was really kind of cool to see 3 drones take off in such a short, you know, your runway is so long, it didn't take them much more than this room really to get up in the air. What else? So it's fascinating to to learn that and see that or whatever else. I'll be, talking to my grandchildren about that or whatever else. So I really enjoyed that. Things that I like to do in the state, I'm an avid fisherman. Love all the lakes in North Dakota. Minnesota is, I kind of stuck to North Dakota here lately or whatever else, and, really enjoy going to all of the lakes in North Dakota, Skakawea, Horsehead, all over. We try to pick 4 or 5 new ones and we've never fished every year, a couple of us, and, so we get that in. So I'm glad we got our meeting scheduled for early May, so that way my summer is clear for fishing. Places outside of North Dakota that I like to go to, any Major League Baseball. I'm a baseball fanatic. I love to, that's one of the checklists to get to every Major League Baseball stadium or whatever else. I think I got 7 left to go or whatever else, so, you know, we might make it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're 12 stories up. I counted it because the elder of 8, and we went up the stairs about 12 stories. I could figure out that you're up there high and up and down there. I asked the lady how long the runway was. I said, it's about 13,000 feet. She says, could tell that from up here? Yeah, that's not that hard to see. I said, it's 12,300 or something like that. So 390, so I was real close, but it took the measurement. Mr. Dorman?
Oh, I didn't know I had to.
Yeah. Everybody gets to participate in the room.
Great meeting. I really want to commit the governor's office to being here for your meeting so we can keep building that relationship. It was grateful that the governor was able to come visit you. I think he'll do that again. His favorite group to visit is any group of kids from any middle school, high school, or grade school. He just lights up. But one of his great gifts is just his ability to connect with people. So I'm glad he was able to make it here. Best Civic will probably be attending most of these meetings going forward. I'm going to make another run at retirement here in the future. But Beth will probably be the portfolio holder for the ACOVA. Beth's in the National Guard. She just got promoted to Lieutenant Colonel. Years ago, she was my aide-de-camp in Kosovo for a little bit of time, so I've known her for a while. She spent some time in Ghana and West Africa as our bilateral affairs program, or a bilateral affairs officer for the State Partnership Program. So she's a veteran, good person, be a great liaison to the ACOVA. Thank you guys for your service, for stepping up and doing this important work. I really appreciate that. Favorite places, I don't know, anywhere that the military didn't make me go is high on my list of places I like to go. In North Dakota, I can tell you, I always like going to Camp Grafton. There's a little house there that's still got peach colored toilets and sinks. Old wood, smells horrible. No, it smells like an old cabin and it's on the lake. I love going to that place. In the United States, my in-laws have a cabin out in Montana, right outside of Yellowstone, just beautiful area. And up until about, I don't know, 3 years ago, if you went out there, you didn't even have cell coverage. So that was a real blessing. Now they got Wi-Fi, so that's all ruined, but just beautiful up there. So anyway, thanks for letting me be part of this. And again, good meeting. Appreciate everybody's service.
Yes, well, it's hard to beat that. Yes, it was so nice to have the governor here and his wife. I thought that was very personable, and I second that about children, because as I had said yesterday and asked him, my 2 granddaughters raise pheasants and they raise them for release. Well, their dad does most of the work, but anyway, it's a job for them. It's chores, and I think it's been good for them. And the governor got interested and purchased some, so they were part of that, going out to his lodge to release them. And so I thought I'd not seen that side of him. I wasn't there, but my son talked about it. So it was kind of neat. And anyway, so it's very nice having the governor and his wife here. And it was also wonderful to have Trish's sidekick there. I just think that's extremely wonderful. And as far as the tour, I really enjoyed going out to Grand Forks Base. I hadn't been there since probably my National Guard times in probably 89, sometime in there. So it has changed quite a bit. And with the change in mission, it was interesting to see that. And we were treated so respectfully. I really liked that. And thank you to your office for organizing all of that. I appreciate that. And I thought we had a good meeting. It rolled quite well too, with everyone and all of the groups. And I actually didn't know Trish hardly at all, except when she was on camera. And so I had texted her and said, should we go out for dinner? Was that Friday night? And she said, sure. So it ended up with a large group of us. And I thought that was really nice because being new here just a little over a year now, I wasn't sure where everyone went in the evening. So I usually would go out and have dinner myself and go to my room. So this is really nice to get to know all of you a little bit better. And it's very warming for me. And it's something I think that it'd be nice to continue that if we can, unless like Brian, he's got a sister he's got to go see. We understand that. And someday I may end up and having to go see somebody in my family too. But it was really nice having everybody together. I just wanted to say that. But as far as what we covered, I feel like I'm just starting to get the drift of all of this. And I've had a good committee to be on that has really helped me to learn so much. And I appreciate learning that. So maybe by my last year, I'll have a little more of a handle on things, but I'm getting there. So my experience with working with a group like this has been very limited. It's been mostly medical in my life and nursing. So it's different. And anyway, my favorite place in the state. I would have to say, this sounds strange, but I really like Lake Sibley, which is in Kidder County, and these guys know where it's at. It's actually in the flyaway of where the geese and the ducks come through from Canada on their way down south and it's incredible. I am learning all the ducks come through, and there's a lot of different ones, and I take pictures of them when I'm out at the lake, and I teach my granddaughters what they are, and they know what they are probably better than I do. That and the pheasant hunting. I used to be a pheasant hunter. I don't hunt anymore. And I'm really enjoying sometimes just getting in my vehicle and driving around the section lines, down the gravel roads. And it's really beautiful out there, the agricultural area. And I have learned to meet a lot of the people and really enjoy it out there. So I think it was one of my favorite places in the state, second probably to Medora, of course. But in the US, I too have enjoyed the mountains out west, and still my goal in retirement is to get to some of those national parks. I haven't been to that many, and I am going to go to one this summer and with family. So I would like to explore more of those in the future. So that's all I have. Thank you, everybody, and welcome, Todd, here. It's really a pleasure to meet you and to find out you're in Bismarck, and I've never met you before, but I've only been there a couple of years too. So it's a pleasure to have you on here. And also Jonathan. Yes, welcome aboard with us.
Nathan?
Right on. I'd like to start with gratitude. I'm really grateful to serve on this committee. So thanks to the American Legion for nominating me, the governor for accepting my nomination and putting me here. Grateful to serve our veterans with all of you. Related to serving veterans, I got to ask the governor yesterday about protecting veterans from predatory folks. And it just strikes me that what I learned in sort of legislatively, working that issue last session was that it's incumbent on all of us to get our veterans into the system so that the predatory people who are out there can't predate them, right? So if there's a veteran that you know who's not already been seen, or doesn't think that their VSO is serving them, or doesn't like the VA or whatever, just scoop them up and get them into the system so that those predator guys can't take advantage of it. Because a lot of times the predators are other veterans themselves. I'm helping you. All you got to do is fork over a bunch of your money afterwards. So let's just protect our veterans, keep on working on our veterans, and I'm grateful to be a part of this group doing that. Several things come to my mind thinking about veterans, the American Legion, which I'm a part of, the Marine Corps League, which I'm a part of as well, doesn't have representation here. A lot of times we talk about our society and say it's bad that there aren't very many veterans in the United States of America. You know, our percentage is pretty low. About 6% of our citizens have served. But you know what? That means 12% of our citizens for sure, meaning their veterans and their family members, are affiliated with the military. That is way enough to preserve our American way of life, to affect legislation, to affect our communities, to keep our communities loyal by showing up at the parades, America 250. So just keep on doing that. Let's all be in our communities. Let's all be active. Not every veteran is going to agree on every political issue, of course. Put two of us in a room and we're going to disagree, right? But there are enough of us to keep America strong. So let's just keep on doing that. I'm also grateful to the governor for being here. I think that's really cool of him. And so then the prescribed items that Chairman gave us, favorite place in North Dakota. My heart's in Western North Dakota. Grew up in small town and really do like the Badlands, but I also don't quite just say only Medora. So I like motorcycling out in the Badlands. And you can get on the western side of the Badlands, take Route 16. It's not literally like it was back in the Explorer days, but there's not much out there. There's a paved road, which is great. Or a paved road to go on a horseback or by foot. But so Western North Dakota is what I'm going to say. When I'm out across the rest of the country and interacting with people about our great state, I talk to them about the water features, the Missouri River, pothole region, how the Red River flows north and the Souris River sweeps down into North Dakota, but then goes back north. And so we've got a really cool state, even though it doesn't have the dramatic mountains that people want to see, where they come out here and say it's all flat or whatever. It's a pretty cool place. My favorite place in the United States, I'm kind of gonna be like the general back there, southeastern Idaho. My in-laws are from just south of Salmon, Idaho. My first time with you, I did tell you all that I went to the University of Idaho on the Western Undergraduate Exchange Program. So there's a part of my heart that is in Idaho, just south of Salmon. My wife and I got married on my in-laws' property, and 3 years ago, our daughter got married under the same little arch in the same yard. So you see, because the governor accepted me for ACOVA, I changed my residency back from Idaho to North Dakota. So I am a resident of North Dakota since I'm serving with you all and people of our state. So that's all I got. Appreciate you listening.
You're part of the 20% increase in our population.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Joe?
Well, appreciate for being here. Oh yeah, if you guys still want me on the board, I'll continue doing here. It's fun being with y'all. It's been a learning experience. First tour. Best place in the United States. I mean, I'm a little partial to Hawaii, and maybe that's because of my red light experiences there, but Hawaii was always fun. Good food, good climate. North Dakota, Fort Ransom, get around the little Yellowstone area down there, it's nice down there. So that's all I gotta say, thank you.
Well, it's been 3 years, we're out down in Hawaii down there, we experienced on the military way. We stayed on the military base, but I mean, it was cheap. Our whole trip for both of us, I don't think we spent $2,500 per couple.
That's not bad.
For a week, we stayed down there a week with our flights and everything, I don't think we spent that much.
I dropped out 3 days there.
Our place.
And that wasn't lodging.
The place we stayed was $120 a night, or $6 per couple, so that was easy.
Couple little sweet bars, man.
Trish?
So where to start, right? The base tour was great. I think it's a great idea to send them a, thank you certificate. I don't know who took the pictures. Are they gonna be on the website?
Yeah, I'm gonna send pictures when we get back to the office.
Okay, great. If you need Daryl Cochran to put in a frame for them, let me know. He seemed to be a hit with them as well. That's my mother calling. I'll call her back. It's not an emergency. It was good that the governor and his wife were here. I thought that was, good. We've been to Bismarck. But it took Grand Forks, which is funny, but I'm glad he could make it, and stop by. I know he had another obligation, but, I really do appreciate that he took the time to come here and meet with us. I think that's important, for him to hear, for us to hear from him and him to hear from us. Thanks for welcoming me back in person. It's good to be here. I'm not gonna lie, yesterday was exhausting. Today was rough. This morning, getting up and coming here in person, it was a challenge not to come in by Zoom. But getting Daryl out and here, which he's hanging out over here. The Veteran Service Dog Program, if you didn't know, I know I sent Murray and Dave and a few others that the service dog program nationwide has lost their federal funding. I know that North Dakota has funded it, and I do appreciate it. And I was a recipient of the North Dakota grant for half of the cost of Daryl, so I'm grateful for that. And I want to put that on the record because 25,000 is an incredible amount for these dogs, but they're well worth it when it can change your life so incredibly. But it's even paying half of that, right? Is a lot, and so if the federal funding isn't there, then the grants aren't there, and then they have to stop training, and we only have one agency in North Dakota, and that's in Judd. And if you haven't been down there, they encourage you to go and visit them. They are one of the only training facilities that does cognitive training, which is a different type of training. A lot of will do lure training with leashes. You learned yesterday that they do a different type of, it's a lure training of a sort with the Kong, but not treats. So they use lure training with the Kong. When I was asking him those questions on what they use to train with, they use part positive reinforcement, and part lure with their Kong. So, it's incredible the stuff you learn. I spent 2 weeks on site. If you don't know what it goes through to get a service dog, I spent 2 weeks in a small, I don't know if it's even 450 square foot cabin, but I appreciate that they have cabins there, right? The first week I was there in the cabin by myself, and then being introduced to the dogs pick you. And it's hard not to be offended when you're not picked, or you're not quite peed on, but you're peed next to, peed adjacent. It's so, it's an interesting process, and by the end of the first week, I'd been narrowed down to 3 dogs, 2 labs, and Daryl, who's a golden retriever, and then I worked with just those 3 dogs from that point to figure out which one would go home with me, and then that's the one I'd work with to make sure that the bond was there during that second week before I went to the fight as I trained week at home. So then I would go home for a week, work out some kinks. So I sit as an alternate municipal judge for the city of Rockford. So I had to make sure I had a court date. I had to make sure I had a class date. I had to make sure I was in office. And so my week was pretty jam packed, even though we had one storm day. With the university closing on that Friday because of weather. The courts did not close and that was my court date. So it worked out okay that I had everything scheduled in there. And it all worked out well, and we had a lot to go through. And it was exhausting, and they said it would be exhausting, and it is exhausting because they get me out into places that I don't want to go to. And we go to them, and it gets easier each time. So yeah, it's an incredible program. If you have gaming funds and can support them, great. I recommend you do, because they're great, but go visit them. Jen and her team down there, I think they work 24/7 because there wasn't a time I walked from the cabin over to the facility that there weren't people there. They get the dogs up at 6 a.m. They put them to bed at 10 p.m. If the dogs aren't there on the facility, they're in one of the 3 correctional centers, JRCC, Mandan, or Bismarck's. And they work with their handlers in the 3 prisons, and those handlers are very committed because it's one strike and you're out. You don't get another chance at being a handler if you blow it or you get a violation or anything. So they actually attended my graduation last Friday, two of the prison programs, and they had a chance to speak. And tears were just flowing from not only them, but the handlers and me and everybody else, but on how impactful this program is for them. It changes their lives. It changes the lives of the trainers and judge because they train these dogs for 3 to 4 to 5 years, and they turn them over to their new person, and they understand what that means for the person, but they also are losing this family member that they've had for 4 to 5 years. So it's very, very incredible. All right. So enough of that. And North Dakota, well, I grew up in Lakota. So as a child, my favorite places were Devil's Lake when we went to the lake fishing. Of course, Red River, Dump Lake, and what am I blanking at? What's the Red Willow? Yes, I blanking on it. Yes, Red Willow. Those were the go-to places in my childhood. But as an adult, I like going out west. I like going hanging with my friend Dave Millerin out in Newtown. We have the BVA stuff out there on the water. It's absolutely beautiful. We're anywhere that you can just get out and unplug and be outside. In the US, I spent most of my adult years when I wasn't deployed from somewhere in San Diego as my home base. And then when I got out in 91, I lived in San Diego until I finished all my college in 2002. So I consider that my adult home, so my heart will always be my second home in San Diego. So, yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I could follow up a little bit with the service dogs. I don't include a lot of these things in my report because it's long enough. But the service dogs did lose a lot of their funding in the federal. And the issue is there's funding, and then they have a group that would administer the funds for them. And now they threw another middleman in there that this group contracted with to administer the funds. So you get $100, I'll take 25 to do this, and then I'll give it to these people. They'll administrate, they'll take 25, and you got 50 left to split up. So, and it's actually bigger numbers than that. So the system needs to get changed, but I've been working with our Codell to make sure they're aware of it, and they're very passionate about the dogs. So they want to fix it, and we're looking, we did 200,000 and 300,000. The American Legion commander, Mike, has made it his commander's project. So if you guys can get some gaming funds to him too, get them to the service dogs. Hopefully we get through this hump. I sit on the board that reviews all the applications for everything, and life-changing. They are amazingly life changers. And if you had a child with diabetes or epilepsy, things like that, you want a dog. Because Daryl indicated on me when I walked in, right away.
Blood sugar, right away.
You know, my blood sugar was up and I could feel it and the dog's like, right there. So they are amazing, and if you had a child, you would want that dog in that bedroom, so they can let you know if they're having a seizure, so. Very important program, I know I want some gaming funds for our medallions, but, you know, let's take care of our living here and the service dogs. Help them out, so, sorry, I had to put that plug in there.
Yeah. And if you want my campaign number, I will take a contribution.
Chairman?
Yep.
I'd also like to come down to, Trish for, having Daryl. He is what a service dog is supposed to be. He lays there by you and all this. Dave and I know a guy that's got a service dog, and I'd really appreciate if you'd set time up for Daryl to train him how to be a service dog. Right, Dave? Rough Rider?
It'd be a tough one.
Is it truly a service dog? Or is it?
Yeah.
No.
He went through, I think it was Detroit Lakes.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, no, Tom, it isn't, yeah, I don't know who certified his dog. I know Tom.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, it was a great meeting again. I think it's kind of nice to move around to different spots. Let me look at here, we got 20 people come in here. Some people are saying, well, what are you doing here? Well, we're veterans, we're working for veterans, veterans doing things for veterans. And, well, we didn't know you did that, or people did that, or somebody would do that. There's 20 of us. We work at it quarterly, we have meetings, you know, and have, you know, they wouldn't know that here at Grand Forks, so we, so no sense going to Bismarck all the time, but Bismarck, well, let's let everybody know it. Be proud of what we do, because we do a hell of a job. And I do love your dog, he's good. I got a kick out of you, Lonnie, when he jumped up, he don't go after nobody. When you come in and he walked around right away and tell you, he's like, don't you take care of yourself? Do I have to do something for you? Great one. But yeah, I think this, moving around a little bit with, being in a different town, spreading ourselves out so everybody knows what we do. The more people that know what we do, the more it's gonna help us. And, I guess as far as North Dakota, I'm stuck on western North Dakota, have been for years. I got into the Lewis and Clark deal many years ago, and I was riding motorcycle. I've run both sides of the river in North and South Dakota, following the Lewis and Clark Trail. I kept up with that a lot, and whenever I had a chance, I was in Montana, I'd get on the trail again. I got 196,000 hog miles, and a deer took me off. And the only really made it bad was I wanted to get my 200,000 mile pad, because I got my 190 or 175. But they said, well, I totaled the bike out, so they said, well, come rent the bike from Harley and go on a trip. Then you can get your 4,000 miles at 200,000. Everybody's happy with that, but my wife. You think they're gonna get me yet, you know? Deer hit me at 8:30 in the morning. I didn't like riding at night. At 8:30 in the morning in Dover on there, and it takes me off my bike. Jump right into you. You know me, I almost perfect. I had it in the bag in the back. Never got a scratch on my helmet. These butt took me out, but whatever. And like I say, I like North Dakota. I've been stuck on North Dakota for years. And what do we got going there in Medora this year for the new memorials over the libraries opening up?
Yep.
We can keep that in mind. Maybe we'll have to have a meeting there sometime.
Oh, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what we did there now.
I had called them when they talked about it, and I said, it might be a little bit early if we're gonna do it. I said, you can't be, they're keeping 2 or 3 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
That know they got something going and they wanna come to Medora. And I'm not a golfer, so I've never went golfing. They claim you can go look for some balls in certain areas because they put up a sign that watch for rattlesnakes if your ball goes in here, so nobody goes look. Instead of go look for their ball.
Bring your 410 judge, I'll bring mine.
Yeah, so anyway, that's an ideal to move around and let everybody know about it. Be proud of what we do and veterans helping veterans, and thank you guys for doing that. It's a great job to be part of it. And see if we can't do something for Medora this year. You can take Roosevelt Library going or whatever, I'll have to check that out. And welcome you new guys, thanks for coming. Hope you enjoy it. Keep trying. Thanks a lot, guys.
I'm just humbled and honored by the VFW to select, nominate me in for the governor's selection. I really appreciate that. My boys are fourth generation military. All four generations have had boots on the ground in combat, and all four generations have been under fire. So when I mentioned to my boys, it's emotional. My son has PTSD like you read about. So when I retired in 24, after 38 years of traveling, I said, I want to do something for my brothers and sisters. So I joined the Mental Health Council for the VA in Fargo to try to continue to tell the story, use the gifts that God gave me, which is sales and marketing, be able to tell the story. We have to tell the story of patriotism. We have to tell the story of sacrifice. We need to be in every elementary school, middle school, and high school to champion that cause. That's my passion. I see my son who's incredibly successful, but PTSD is just tearing him apart. And so I'm humbled to be able to join your group to bring that passion. We're anchored from my great uncle John and from Lisbon, World War II, Korea, and they brought him back to Vietnam and decorated, buried in Arlington. So we have a very rich military history of that. Just very grateful to be here. And I think I was talking with Dave last night about, I think all brothers and sisters of the military, we work ourselves to death because we're afraid that we won't be able to help somebody that's in need, right? So we all kind of work that. I'm just very grateful to be here. I learned a lot yesterday with the committee. It was tremendous. Got to see one of our brothers in trouble and how we could help them. And that's really why I got active in the VFW and got active here. And I'm grateful for that. So it's going to be interesting for that. I'm very passionate about what we do and how we do it. Places in the US, I'm an avid motorcyclist. I spend 10 to 14 days a year on a motorcycle. That's my disconnect. And, I did the Blue Ridge Parkway a couple of years ago. And that's a great ride if you ever get a chance down there. It's just an amazing place. My favorite place in North Dakota, if you've not been, is for Lake Chida. And just north of Elgin, south of Glenelg, just an amazing place. My family homesteaded there in the 1800s, so it's got a little draw to that, but just grateful. I thought it was amazing that the governor joined us and spent some time with us. Very personable. I don't know the man, but I think what he showed us yesterday, his commitment to our brothers and sisters is important. But I just challenge all of us to tell the story, to get out and find that next generation, right? I think we were talking at breakfast about trying to attract that next one, right? So anyways, I'm just grateful. So thank you very much.
Dave? Well, pleasure meeting Jonathan. Looking forward to more and more. And you too, Daryl, where are you at? Taking it easy. Trish's passion and trying to help the dogs of Judd. And we have a friend, long friend passed now, Richard Bellin Whopper, and he was highly involved in the Judd service dog venue. Miss him quite a lot. And Trish and I had quite a few experiences with Whopper over the past years. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in order to help raise funds in order to make sure that we can maintain this and get access to more and more people. There's lots of people in need. And many people don't realize how good of a therapy these dogs are. They're excellent. As far as the meeting, Grand Forks Air Base, that was a very wonderful, revisit on my part. I think the last time I was there was in 2010 with Trish. We went golfing up there, but, it just to see the facilities and the commitment of the few, airmen and soldiers that we actually got a chance to converse with a little bit, that's amazing that we've got to remember to bring these modern people into under our guidance. I don't know if I can guide anybody anywhere, but I'm sure be willing to talk to people. And one point to be made too, Dan, you know, if you started ordering first, you might get fed eventually.
I did order first.
Yeah, the governor's presence here was very, very rewarding in his commitment and his involvement to know what goes on in this committee. You know, many times some of the political individuals make appointments and they're not even sure what their mission is. And I think the governor's got, Armstrong's got at the top of it. Besides that, like, it seems to me that in the left-handed way that he invited us to go to Pick City for his fireworks show, but he will not be there this year. Maybe that's why that was brought up. We've got a few things going on here. I enjoyed Medora more than anything, basically. I like that country down there. It's rough. When I was in the National Guard for a while, I served with the 142nd Med Detachment, and we did our 2 weeks events out there, and that was like in the early 80s. So I mean, we didn't have much to work with. And as far as the United States, I kind of tore it up for places that, like, I do like Maui a lot. There's a lot of things on Maui that are very, the topography and everything are very different. But I'm very fond of the Black Hills in the area from Hot Springs all the way up to Spearfish. And I'll probably be there tonight if I get on the road soon enough. But there's a the MHA Nation, Mandan and Hadassah-Rikra tribes are involved in organizing a historic trip again to over D-Day, the 82nd annual D-Day deal, and they are honoring some fallen native, and at that point with a parade and whatnot. And I've been probably will be going again. I have a second cousin that died in D-Day there on D-Day. And I did a few years ago, and I did locate his grave, and he's buried about 5 rows over and 3 rows down from Teddy Roosevelt. And the history they have at the cemetery there indicated that Eisenhower had established that cemetery, but he shortly thereafter, or after the D-Day landing in Mr. Baker, Silver Baker, we call it Pete, but he landed on that day, and he was buried about 150 yards from where he fell. So that was kind of amazing that they had that kind of information and dedication there in the historic monument cemeteries. I believe that's the committee. It's
American Battle Monuments.
yeah. And he had well, I had a rough time finding him. I thought he lived right down the road there for North Dakota, but I looked for years for trying to find out where he was. Well, I kind of run across one of my uncles, and he said, well, he was out visiting his sister in Flathead out to Kalispell, and then where he joined up. So he was registered under Montana. And that's where I had the issues. So, but we did find him, but he drew fire from a hedgerow, sniper, machine gun fire, and volunteered for that. And he was mortally wounded, and there's a lot of write-up on him in the historical things. But the comments is he did live long enough to see him remove the enemy from that, and then they moved on to forward. But so I'm looking forward to. I'm not sure if I'm going to go there again or not, but if the tribe wants to have me around, I guess I'll be around. Another point of information, I talked to Dan Stenbolt here, about the Vietnam Veterans Annual Convention and Picnic. Historically, we hold that out west, and Mayville and Fargo had it last year and stuff, but there's only like 3 or 4 posts or chapters that actually are still trying to host it. Our biggest problem is most of us Vietnam veterans can't do much of anything anymore as far as handling all that kind of activity. And they do not, Dan told me that we do not have a host chapter for this year as of yet. Hopefully, we're going to be able to cure that in the next couple of months or so, because normally in July, it's the 3rd week in July that we normally hold that convention. And it's a little bit more laid back than American Legion and some of them where you got a dress code and everything. But I don't think I've ever seen Dan there without flip flops on. So, so I'm looking forward to seeing if we can muster up enough standing veteran organization. Other than all that, it's really rewarding to see everybody committed here and the appreciation that they have for the dedication that our governor showed us. Governor Armstrong, that was it really made a big point to me. And I thought that was really good of him to be involved and come out here. And it's been a pleasure of meeting Jonathan and Todd. He's going to probably straighten me up. There might be hope for me someday. If he can. But I'm not sure about that either. But that's about it, and I'll let Brian have his say.
It's hard to go after you. It was nice having the governor stop by. That's kind of cool. The tour, that's the first time we've really done anything since I've been on ACOVA, so that's really appreciated. You know, we go to all our other conventions and everything, and all you do is meetings. They don't leave you any time to do anything else, so just meeting and that's it. So I appreciate he's lining that up for us. The meetings went very well this last couple of days. We had a real good committee meeting, so I can't go any better than this. This was nice having all this room, couple breakout rooms, worked out very well. As for where I like to go, I like to go camping and boating and stuff. We got a pontoon, so you know, and anywhere I can just hang out on a lake or go camping. We've been to a couple of the parks in the state. They are very, very nice. The 90-day window is open, so if you want to get a camping spot, get on that and start planning. Other than that, around the United States, and we've been to Hawaii and stuff. Anywhere that's warm during the winter time is nice to go to, or summertime. My wife really likes to hang out on a beach or by a pool and stuff. So we like to go different places. So any place we can go that's different and by a pool or a lake, that's great. Other than that, your turn, Mark.
Can I have a second before you? Sure. You know, I was thinking, we're all veterans helping veterans and trying to help veterans, and we think every veteran in North Dakota knows something about us, knows that there's people around that can help them. The weirdest thing I heard, I tried to get a veteran to join the VFW. And he said, no, I was there one time and I will not join your club. And I said, well, what is that? What did we do wrong? He said, well, I don't like your hospital. I said, what are you talking about? Well, you have that VFW hospital in Fargo and I don't like it. I said, buddy, that's not our hospital, for Christ's sake. I got enough things to worry about. You're gonna run a hospital? honest to God, he's a veteran living in North Dakota and thought that the VFW owned the VA hospital. So there is we got a long way to go yet, you know. Sorry I interrupted you. but I wanted to-
Okay, that's the round table list, conversation. I'd like to welcome Todd and both Jonathan here as two members along here, there's a lot of water to drink here, put it that way. Don't figure that out in a heartbeat. A lot of stuff, well, that part too. But a lot of information that goes out of here, so. On the AMBES side, we do an legislative advocacy week up in, Washington DC on March 4th and 5th. That's when we go up there, we storm the hill, talk to our congressmen, try to get stuff we want passed up there, and then we have our national meeting right after that. Memorial Day, for all your motorcycle riders, we have what they call Ride to Remember. It's by the AMBES. It's up in Washington DC. We start at the Pentagon. They line up all the motorcycles. They parade through Washington DC. We've got a saluting Marine. If you ever see the picture of him, he stands there and he salutes all the bikes coming by. That goes on Memorial Day up in Washington DC. Glad to see the governor here. That was great. The tour was great. I didn't know that was that big a plane. I didn't realize those towers are 12 stories in the air. Places in North Dakota I like to go to. There's a little place called Clawson Springs there by Valley City. And if you want to see quaint and quiet, a little bubbling brook around your backside of you, it's a great, you can go camping there in a tent or a camper or whatever. They've got a lake there. You can take a well, not a pontoon, but a little rowboat on there, no motors. It's either kayaks or inflatables or whatever, or canoes. But there's no motors allowed in that place. It's pretty small area anyway. And it's, like I said, it's nice and quiet. Anywhere from a tent to a camper in there. You can have fires. Like I said, you wake up in the morning, have a little bubbling brook coming right behind you. That's fun to be there. I've been there twice now. And at Fort Ransom, that was one of my garden weekends, was our 2 weeks was down at Fort Ransom. We did put that new wood bridge in there, and then we did some landscaping with cats, which is kind of hard to do. We did it anyway. Place in the United States. Gosh, when Brian retired, we didn't know what to do during COVID, so we went down to South Dakota. We ordered razors in the mountains up there. They got little maps you put up there, and you can follow the trails and go anywhere you want to in the hills. Stop at the towns, eat, go back on the roads. That was a fun couple week that we had down there. United States, like I said, anywhere it's warm too, exactly. And we think that we got it bad here, so we go, when I was deployed in South America. I was down in Panama, Honduras, and Bolivia. And the guy was retired in Bolivia. I mean, he retired in military pay for $600 a month. At the end of the month, he still had $300 left. That's, I mean, that's how cheap a lifestyle is down there. He had an 83 Ford diesel pickup, and he said filled it once every 2 months. That was it. He didn't go very far. If we wanted to get 10 pounds of nails, we had to go to 3 hardware stores. It sounds funny, but that's the truth. So we're real fortunate around here, but I've done, like I said, I've done some fun places too. We got one more item of business to take care of, Lonnie said, before we leave. So I'll let Lonnie take over here or explain.
Yes, evidently, a new requirement for board members is a financial disclosure statement. And I'm looking for an email here. I believe I've received one. Mr. Dorman, that email you sent me, does that lead to that link?
Yeah, I'm just looking up, statement of interest.
Well, there's a statement of interest, on the board, but there's also financial.
Yeah, I sent Lonnie a link, that you all can click on. I would say talk to your attorney first, see if you're required to fill one out. Not each individually, but maybe, I can have Chris in our office or Lonnie, your special assistant attorney general. But under section 16.1.09-02, it used to be just candidates for elected office, but now any individual appointed by the governor to serve an agency or board must file a statement of interest. I'm on 2 governor appointed boards. I had to fill out 2 statements of interest for both those boards. And I believe the ACOVA is probably covered under this law now because you all are appointed by the government.
Right, we used to fill that out,
Yeah,
and then this last round, I didn't fill it out, so I was
Yeah.
confused.
I sent the information to Lonnie. Lonnie, you and I probably should chat Monday, just to make sure that this is a requirement. I searched the Secretary of State's website. I cannot find any entries for ACOVA.
Because we used to fill out that online, full online application. every
That
time
was
we
the
were on.
application for
Yeah.
the position.
But it had that statement of
that's that
interest.
statement of interest. in there.
Yeah, and now it's a yearly requirement.
Oh, now it's every year.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah, I think I filled one out in 2007. I didn't have to fill out one out again until this year.
But I didn't even fill one out when I was appointed this time.
Yeah, and it is a new requirement with boards. But anyway, Lonnie has the information. We'll double check, make sure. The deadline was January 31st.
All right.
But I'll let the Secretary of State know. We won't send ice after you. I'll let the Secretary of State know that maybe this information didn't get to all of you. And give you some grace to get it filled out.
It's on its way by email to everybody.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah.
thank you for bringing
Yeah,
that.
again, I don't think anybody's going to jail, but
It's an electronic filing, so we can just do it on.
it's online.
So what is it asking?
It's,
Financial interest disclosure.
yeah, I
What
don't
is
know if
that?
anybody's heard of the DOD ones, but it's pretty basic. So you don't have to go into each individual investment. I think, like if you go through Raymond James or Charles Schwab or something like that, you just have to plug that in. You don't have to go into exactly what everything is invested in. And then you have to disclose, other positions, just in case there's a conflict between maybe another point of position you have or board you serve on that might conflict with your work with the state. So it's not real onerous. I personally, was going to not fill one out. It's only $100 fine. So I was willing to pay the $100 to fill it out. But it is a requirement under the law.
Okay, if there's no motion like that to take care of that, so if you get it filled out, they're just making sure when it comes to a lawsuit that we're not in trouble in place. That you are not on this board for financial gain. It's the main thing about it. That's the best way to say it. And everybody knows here, we're not here for financial gain.
Is there a blank one in here? I see the statements of interest for the other people.
I filled one out recently for the Citizen Advocacy Board. They gave me a template to how to fill it out. Go step by step, and I can share that with you. I could.
Because I see Macaulay,
do.
Timmons, Lear, Scheitner, Peter, Warren, Istra. Where's the blank?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I got one other thing. As we went around the round table and, brought up many times, it's nice to have the governor here. It certainly was. I think we all agree with that. So I wrote down a little note that as we're moving these meetings around and we've noticed in the legislature, some of our opposition or in the people that support veterans in the legislature, when we go to Minot, is it a possibility to invite those legislators around there, or at least notify them that we're having this meeting and saying you're welcome to stop in and say hi? So I always say personal relationships, if you meet that person and you have that opportunity to talk to them one-on-one about whether it's something personal or something in general, that's how you get people on your side. You're educating them on your deals. And so many times our legislators don't even, I'm gonna say it, they don't even know about us. They really don't. So we've started this move around thing. That gives us the opportunity to invite those and welcome them in to learn about ACOVA and the veterans' needs. So maybe we should, as our agenda, I don't want them hopping in and breaking up our agenda and our meetings and all that, but this social aspect, even the hour afterwards or whatever I'll say here, we're available, or, please stop in from 4 to 5 or whatever else. set that time period and invite those people in that area to stop in and meet us, get to know us and us to know them.
I had the same idea, like you're talking about when I was with the DOT, we did that. We heard about funding and stuff like that. We invited our congressmen to our little meetings. We had like 2 or 3 sections got together and had a meeting, and we invited the legislature in there too. So we could meet those guys, they could meet us. That's what, that's a very good idea. And we had pretty, like, and one in Steel, we had 6 different ones there, so it was worthwhile inviting them in there, so. It's a good idea.
I can invite, everyone in the district,
Yep.
around Ward County. It's happened before and it's nice for them to come in and see, so.
Show them we're there and we're listening and if we'll listen to them too, so.
Will do, sir.
All right, now do we have motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Great, that.
You want Dave to get to South Dakota?
Yeah.
As a motion second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Till May 7th.
All right, if you did, give your credit card to the desk. Doesn't hurt to go up and make sure